Seductive Pain. By Ashenafai. Chapter 25. I don't know who said it, once the love bug bits, there is no known antidote, I know that I shall be happily infected for the rest of my eternal life. And love shouldn't be a journey to the heart with the intention of conquering the mind, but rather to slip into the soul accidentally on purpose, and with the intent of getting lost in deep feeling, aphrodisiac yearning, strong sexual desire, onslaught craving, gorgeous enchantment, curtain of fire defenselessly in a cloud of smoke and mist. Hazardously consumed by lust and passion. Burn and incinerate without asking mercy. To fall into illness and psychosis. Under the influence of uncontrolled emotions, receptivity, and adrenaline rush. The garden of indulgence and beautiful flowers. The scent of tenderness. Empathy of the spirit, come hell or high water. Temptation and seduction sure as can be. Your heart is stolen. Your rights are deprived of dignity earnestly. To harvest the truth lavished with innocent deception and nitrate noir. Life in fast lane and to spread yourself too thin. And perhaps somewhat to drift in pleasant vehemence feverishly in a haze of endearment and addictive kisses. Completely worn out as if your heart were oxidized blue, red, erotic, and colors you don't even know they exist. Reduced to ashes till a magnolia grows in your belly mysteriously of the powder remains after volcanic romance, abstract sensuality, and lewdness, and French kiss. All of the sudden, the magnolia turns into a rose. It becomes your heart covered with fever and dewdrops. And to breathe in contradiction of existence. And stabbed, broken, mended, and twisted in spasm and paroxysm of pleasure and climax. And to say at top of your lungs, wow. That's fucking love. EXT Beverly Hills Day. Chris takes a walk in the neighborhood of Beverly Hills. It's beautiful sunny day. He stops by at a gate of a luxurious house and sees Emma walking down by a swimming pool that looks like a pond. Emma is not wearing a single drop of cloth. She is smoking a cigarette. Emma looks at him but pretends she didn't see him. She strokes her private part softly and sucks her index finger in seduction. Emma then takes a glance and catches his eyes. Chris gives her a wink instinctively and says hi under his breath. She smiles in beauty, throws the cigarette on the water, dives into the pool and swims a lap. He continues to watch her in wonder. Emma gets out of the pool, walks to the main house and enters. Chris resumes his walking at the direction of the camera. Int. Chris and Bree's house, night. Chris and Bree sit at the dinner table and have shrimp pasta and lasagna while talking about religion. Bree, religion is like an aspirin. It doesn't matter if it gives you allergic. But it cures your headache. Faith is like aspirin. It doesn't matter the Bible is accurate or not. But a little bit faith in something that can't be proven or known to be fiction brings you a peace of mind. At least, it lets you get by for the time being. Chris, I have no comment. I mean, if you ask any person to step on a bread or a Bible, most people won't do it. But if you give them a launcher and tell them to blow up a helicopter, which happens to be flying in the beach, they would detonate it in a blink of an eye just for the thrill of it. Bree, I am not following you. Chris, I had a dream last night. Here in Beverly Hills, the entire cops came to arrest this young man. I don't know what he did. I don't know what he looks like. The cops are everywhere, like helicopters flying on the skies, blocking the street and all. They surround his house. They began to fire at him. He fired at them back. Maybe he was a drug dealer. But the thought never occurred to me in my dream. I was caught up in a crossfire like a journalist in Iraq. The neighborhood were running for their lives. It was kind of like a war. It made no sense. I mean, it looked like a news coverage of a war in a foreigner country that you watch on CNN. Then the guy stepped to the porch with a launcher and fired at the cops. There is a big explosion. I swear it cut to interior of a worn-out car. I was in an old van with Mexican family driving in the street of Los Angeles. We were escaping the shooting. The father was driving. Their oldest daughter looked like Vanessa Hudgens. She was looking at me as if she knew me. Kids were in the car. Then the father had a heart attack while driving. I swear the car was moving in the air, just above the ground in slow motion. I still didn't suspect it was a dream. Somehow it felt real. Everybody was panic. Is the car going to flip and crash or what? I was wondering how a car could travel in the air. I told myself I must get it under control. I was sitting in the back and came to the front, took the wheel, got the car under control and began to drive to the nearest hospital. It felt like an action movie. There were Catholic rosary necklace of Jesus Christ on the cross and Mary Mother of God on the rear view mirror. I looked at them and then waked up from my dream. The whole night I was thinking. How did my dream cut to the car? I don't remember getting in the car. I don't know who these people are. I'm sitting in the car with them. It's a film. What's rosary in the car symbolized? I told myself, or rather came to the conclusion, Hollywood is the new religion. Bree, that's something. Anyway, I'm thinking about living Broadway and returning back to doing movies. Chris says nothing. All of the sudden, he seems lost in thought. Bree, are you thinking? Chris, nothing, just the novel that I am working on. Bree, what's it really about? You told me you didn't know what it was about. But you must have some kinds of notions by now. It is crazy. You cannot write a novel without knowing what it is about, can you? Chris, it's about a man named Louis who is in love with a mysterious girl named Iris. He is obsessed with her. But Louis has a beautiful wife. He is married to a girl named Julie. Regardless, Louis begins to have an affair with Iris. She is a femme fatale. She tells him to kill his wife, might as well take the insurance money and spend the rest of his life with her. But Louis doesn't want to kill his wife. As a matter of fact, he loves her more than life itself. Then, one day, Louis wakes up in the morning and finds himself next to Iris, whom he is having an affair with. She is now his wife. It's mystery. He doesn't know how that happened. Julie, who was his wife, becomes his mistress. He doesn't know what is going on. Julie has new altitude and sense of adventure. She changes her style and becomes wild on bed. She is completely transformed herself into a siren. Yet instead of asking him to leave his wife, Julie seduces him into joining them. Louis, Iris, and Julie involve in a passionate threesome. Bree, that is an interesting story. Chris, I don't not like it. It's similar to David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. I want to write something original. Chris grabs untitled first draft of his novel, printed out, and a disc, walks to the fireplace and burns everything he wrote. Chris returns to the dinner table and sits. Bree turns into Emma. She gets up, removes her underwear, sits on the table, in front of him, and shows him her private part in seduction. Emma, why don't you write something real like this? Emma sits on his lap. They kiss intimately. He places her back on the table and removes his clothes completely, so does she. They kiss French and push the foods aside from the table, crashing the dishes on the floor. They begin to make love on the table. Emma turns back to Bree. She got on top of him and rides him seductively. Int. Bedroom, night. Chris and Emma continue to make love in round candlelight. Emma turns back to Bree. They switch back and forth. It is seductive. We stay with them for a bit. Int. Bathtub, night. Chris and Bree sit in the bathtub. She is resting on his chest with her eyes closed. Chris, softly down by her neck maybe, there is someone. Somewhere out there only for me. Between roses, heavens, and deep blue sea. Who seeks my touch, affection, and heat. Someone who longs for my kisses on her lips. Belly, tights, and softly on her feet. Someone, somewhere out there in City of Angels. Who wants to get lost in my beautiful world of passion. Someone who seeks my true love. To romance and adore her. To caress and kiss her. To make love in candlelight. And transcend her beyond the universe. To cuddle and hold her in moonlight. To kiss her day and night. Someone somewhere out there who believes love is more than art. A princess who wishes to steal the brightest star, my soul. Forever to her beautiful innocent heart. Chris kisses her on the shoulder. She opens her eyes and turns slightly around. They kiss. Bree rests back on his chest and closes her eyes. There is a silent moment. She then. Bree, what's bothering you? Chris, nothing. Bree, you were different. Chris, what do you mean? There is a silent moment. She thinks about asking him a question. Bree, under her breath, never mind. I just want you to know I love you more than you can bear it. Chris, I love you too. They kiss intimately. EXT Universal Studio, Day. Bree walks toward the direction of a handheld camera while talking to us. Bree, looking at us. Hi. My name is Brie Larson. I play Veronica in Lady from Tokyo. It's about a man named Jacob who falls in love with a young lawyer named Veronica who just came to New York from Japan. She seduces Jacob into killing her husband Robert, so they will get married and move to Tokyo. However, Jacob finds out she's just using him to get rid of her husband and be with a man named Richard whom she is in love with. Instead, Jacob kills her lover and tells he is not going to kill her husband. She is upset, murders her husband and frames Jacob, planting the murder weapon at the crime scene with Jacob's fingerprint. Jacob is arrested and charged for the murder. Veronica takes his case despite the fact she is the one who committed the crime. Jacob is in love with her even though she is a bad girl. And allows her to represent him vs the most notorious district attorney in New York City named Cassandra, played by Olivia Wilde. It is Veronica's first case, but she provides him the best representation free of charge. However, Veronica herself has to take the witness stand and testify on behalf of the defense. She tells Cassandra Jacob didn't kill her husband. He was with her that night. They were making love. The juries find him not guilty. The judge sends him free. Later, Veronica tells Jacob she has always loved him and found it extremely romantic that he killed Richard out of love. They are both natural-born killers. They kill for love. They're made for each other. Veronica and Jacob make love. He then strangles and kills her. It's a sad ending. But an alternative ending. She stabs him in the neck with a scissor and kills him. Bree runs into Olivia Wilde. Bree, hi. Olivia, hi. They kiss on the cheeks. An actor named Evan is the one who has been recording with handheld camera. Evan, to Olivia, hi gorgeous. Why don't you tell us who you are and what is your part? Olivia, to the camera, I am Olivia Wilde. I play Cassandra, a district attorney. But I won't give you anything. EXT Beverly Hills, day. Chris takes a walk in Beverly Hills neighborhood and stops at Emma's house. Emma is washing her car with a hose. She is wearing a miniskirt. She looks at him, puts down the hose and shuts down the water. Emma walks to the house and enters. Chris resumes his walk seconds later. Emma comes driving her convertible and pulls next to him. Emma, hi. Chris, what's up? Emma, where you going? Chris, just walking. Emma opens the passenger door. Emma, get in. Chris gets in the passenger seat. Emma starts the car and drives away. Emma, why are you checking me out? Chris, I'm just curious. Emma, what are you curious about? Chris, nothing. Emma, what do you do? Chris, I am a writer. Emma, what do you write? Chris, stories. Emma, what kinds of stories? Chris, humorously fairy tales. There is silent moment. She then. Emma, I am an actress. Chris, really? Emma, you don't believe me? Chris, I believe you. Emma, what do you mean you believe me? Chris says the first thing that comes to his mind. Chris, you're extremely beautiful. Emma, thanks. Actually, I haven't starred in series movies. I did a couple of comedy and few horror movies here and there. They don't really count. But they said horror are more aphrodisiac than chocolate. If you want to have sex with a girl, you should take her to a horror movie. But me personally, I prefer pornography. I don't like to keep guys guess or get caught up in a drama. We can drive back to my house. I will let you fuck me every position that you can think of. But doggy style is my favorite. I can feel the full penetration inside my vagina. However, it is up to you. I let you put it anywhere you please. Chris looks at her with puzzlement. He thinks she is playing with him, isn't she? In the meantime, she is seducing the living hell out of him, spreading her legs and touching herself sexually. Chris, I don't know what to say. Emma, I am fucking with you. I like toying with people's minds and see the expression on their faces. I am sweet as a rose. I do not usually go to bed with guys or girls in the first date. Chris, I see. Emma, what's your name? Chris, Chris. Emma, I am Emma. Pleased to meet you. Chris, the pleasure is mine. Emma, do you think Emma is a sexy name? Chris, it's pretty. Emma, my real name is Emily Jean Stone. But I changed it to Emma. What do you think of it? Just be honest. Chris, it sounds cool. Emma, I am beginning to hate it. You can call me Emilcious if you want to. Woody Harrelson used to call me Scotch on the set of Zombieland. I thought the reason he called me Scotch was because of my hair. Sometimes, I dye my hair red. People think I am a redhead like the folks in Scotland, but I am blonde. Later, I asked him why he always called me Scotch. Is it because of my hair? He says the weirdest thing I've ever heard. The reason that I call you Scotch is because of Jesus. He was tempted by the devil to turn stone to bread while he was fasting. Jesus then turned water to wine at a wedding. Later, he saved a prostitute. When they were about to stone her, Jesus told them, "He who has no sin cast the first stone." They all dropped their stones and walked away. Stone has a symbolic meaning in the Bible and designed to carry out the forces of good and evil. That is beside the point. He added, "But there is nothing stone about you but addiction. So first I turned the stone to bread. Then I changed bread into beer brewed with a large proportion of wheat, marijuana, and a drop of blood. I then turned beer to water. Water to wine and wine into scotch, and began to call you Scotch. It has nothing to do with your hair. I know you are a blonde. I know your name is Emily Stone. I might as well change Emily to Emilcious." Woody added, "I thought about calling you Emilcious Scotch. But the two don't go together. Maybe, it doesn't sound bad in films. I shot the sheriff starring Emilcious 420 Scotch. However, to call you Emilicious 420 Scotch is insane. My first instinct was just to call you Emlicious. But I thought we were not there yet. So I just called you Scotch. But if you want me to call you Emilicious, I will be glad to do so." That was his exact words. I memorized every word like a tape recorder. I like both Emmylicious and Scotch. But I thought Emmylicious sounds sexier than Emma or Scotch. What do you think? Chris, I like Emmylicious. But I didn't know you were blonde. Emma, I am blonde. Here. She collects her skirt and shows him the pubic hair on her vagina. She is not wearing underwear. Chris is taken by her sense of sexuality. Emma, my vagina hair is actually dirty blonde. It turns into almost brunette when I am on heat. Is that unusual? Chris, I don't know. She looks at his private part. He is wearing a sweatpants. Emma, you have your heart on. He is a little bit embarrassed. Chris, it's not what you think. Emma, you aren't wearing underwear, are you? Chris, I forget to put it on. Emma, I don't believe you, can I see it? Chris, what? Emma, I want to see your penis. Chris, you can't be serious. Emma, it must be a reason you are walking around by my house without underwear. Let me see it. Chris, I will be too embarrassed. Emma, okay, can I touch it? She puts her hand inside his sweatpants without his permission and touches his private part while driving. He lets her play with it. She begins to give him a hand job. Chris covers his face and looks away at the window. Emma pulls her hand away, smiles softly, and focuses on the road. Emma, that was fun, wasn't it? Chris, you are crazy. Emma, I've been told that many times. They should lock me in a mental institution. Chris, I don't know about that. You seem nice. Emma, did you just move? Chris, something like that. What about you? Emma, counting with her finger January, March, April, May, about 4 months. I actually live in Malibu. I'm just staying with Olivia Wilde. We did a movie together. We fool around once in a while. I'm not lesbian or anything. I broke up with my boyfriend. You know, I heard a rumor he was cheating. I guess I am going through emotions like Kristen Stewart. I like men. Just the idea of being with them is romantic, like Romeo and Juliet, Richard Butler, and Scarlett O'Hara and Bonnie and Clyde. Chris, humorously, what about Thelma and Louise? Emma, what about them? Chris, humorously, they are romantic. Emma, really? Chris, it's a joke. Emma, I know you were messing with me, but it is weird you brought Thelma and Louise. I signed to play Veronica in the remake of The Fly, which was played originally by Gina Davis. However, I had to drop out at last minutes due to schedule conflict. Universal put the project aside indefinitely. They say they are not going to film it without me. They are sitting on it for some unknown reason. It is a different story. Unlike the original, Veronica is a scientist. Brandon is a journalist. She is the one who built the telepods. She doesn't go through changes like Brandon. Instead, she experiments on Brandon and a fly gets into the machine and infuses with his genes. The sex is amazing. But in the end, he becomes violent, completely changes into a fly and attacks her. She shoots and kills him. They change few things. Actually, that was supposed to be the shooting script outline. But the producers didn't like the horror aspect of the movie. Instead, they use the telepods to correct potential genetic error, create harmless mutation, cure cancer, and enhance stamina, strength and power by splicing genes. Even though a fly gets into the telepod when Brandon teleports and splices with his genetic structure, they use that understanding to their advantage and rewrite the program. Not only they fix the mistake that Brandon made, but they also manipulate their genes to give them the ultimate energy, mixing their DNA with various animals and insects' genetic structure and drugs. The dynamic duo make love day and night like animals and get into a lot of adventures. It's a romantic story. They are working on it, rewriting everything from scratch as we speak now. Chris, that sounds interesting. There is a silent moment. She focuses on driving. She then. Emma, what are you writing? Chris, just taking break. Emma, why is that? Chris, I was working on a novel but I didn't like what I wrote. I just burnt 135 pages after I saw you that day. Emma, what do you mean? Chris, I've never seen anything so beautiful like you in flesh and blood. I just lost it. Emma, thanks. But you could have saved it on a disk and used it when you need it. Chris, the little voice inside my belly told me to burn it. Emma, why is that? Chris, I don't know. There are voices in my head. Sometimes, they drive me crazy. Maybe they want to teach me few discipline. Emma, what do you mean by discipline? Chris, work on something original. Emma, I don't get it. But I am hungry like Fergie. Let's grab something. Emma plays Clumsy by Fergie and sings with Stacy as they continue to drive in Sunset Boulevard. There is a big advertisement of Valentino featuring Emma Stone that covers the entire building. She is wearing a beautiful dress. Chris looks at it and a little bit taken by her supernatural beauty. But Emma ignores it. EXT Sunset Restaurant, day. It is a seductive 5-star restaurant in the Strip. Chris and Emma sit and have lunch, turkey sandwiches and Diet Cokes, while conversing. Emma, I'm a writer myself. I took a couple of writing classes at UCLA and was working on a story titled Shortcut, but I didn't write a single page. I had to drop out after a semester in order to pursue acting full-time. Regardless, I don't know what it's about. However, it starts with a girl walking in Hollywood Boulevard barefoot. It's morning. Her feet is dirty. She might have taken a shortcut in the bushes. She is wearing a beautiful red dress. But nobody knows what her story really is. It is mystery. Can you help me? What is the story behind her walking barefoot in the morning? Chris, don't discuss your story with other writers. They might steal it. Emma, mockingly, really? Chris, it was an advice that Joe gave Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard. Emma, what is Sunset Boulevard? Chris, it's one of the greatest movies ever made. You've never seen it? Emma, I am kidding. I've seen it a couple of times. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. But I am interested in Shortcut. It's based on a true story of this girl I saw in the morning. Why is she walking on the street of Hollywood without shoes 6 a.m. in the morning? Chris, maybe she partied all night, had a fallout with her boyfriend and decided to take a walk barefoot for the hell of it. Emma, you have to have a twist like Mulholland Drive. Suppose she suffers from amnesia and finds herself walking in the street of Hollywood without knowing where she is going, then enters a boutique that belongs to an actress and asks her what happens to her? She tells her she does not remember. In order to avoid confusion, let's call the barefooted girl Laura. The actress is Naomi. Naomi takes a pity on Laura. Naomi brings Laura to her house. Laura is gorgeous. Naomi cleans her up and gives her a beautiful red dress. Laura puts it on. Naomi tells her she can stay with her till they figure out what's going on. They begin to investigate who Laura is. Naomi is married to a director named John. He had been filming a movie in New York City. He just returns home after they finish shooting. Naomi introduces Laura to John. Laura is attracted to John. But she has to draw a line. Laura respects Naomi. She doesn't want to cross it yet, the invisible line between love and friendship. Meanwhile, Naomi finds Laura a modeling job as they continue to investigate who she is. But the investigation leads them to nowhere. There is no record of Laura's existence. Later, Laura graces the cover of Vogue. She then appears in a music video, which draws the attention of a couple of film producers. They give her a part that was written for Naomi without ever having to audition. Naomi is upset but supports Laura. The producers make a last-minute change. They fire the director and hire John to direct the movie. Laura is a talented actress. John is impressed by her acting. They begin to have an affair while filming. The paparazzi then catch them in act and photograph them kissing and having sex in the car. Their pictures appear on the covers of various tabloids. Naomi feels betrayed. She breaks few things. John has to move out of the house. Later, Naomi meets John at a restaurant to settle the score. John tells her he wants a divorce. He is in love with Laura. Naomi tells him you will get your fucking divorce, spills her whiskey on his face and walks away. Laura moves in with John. He asks her to marry him. They get married in a big wedding ceremony. It's all over the entertainment news and tabloids. Naomi is crushed. She hires a contract killer named Austin to take care of Laura. Odin follows Laura. He asks her to get in the car at gunpoint. While they are in the car, Laura seduces Austin. She tells him she will triple the money if he murders the person, who might have hired him, to kill her. Laura knows it is Naomi who hired Austin. She doesn't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. Austin thinks about what she says for a minute too. Laura tells him to pull over on the side of the road. She gives him a blowjob. Austin tells her you got yourself a deal, drops her on the street and drives away. The same night, Austin follows Naomi, points his gun at her and tells her to get in the car. Naomi gets in the passenger seat. Austin warns her he will shoot her in the face if she acts like a bitch. He gets behind the wheel and drives in the street of Los Angeles. Naomi knows Laura set her up. Austin double-crossed her. She feels deceived, and does not care about death anymore. Austin tells her he is going to shoot her in the back of her head execution style. She won't feel no pain. It's a million miles less agonizing than going to sleep after a great sex. Austin then asks Naomi to give him a blowjob. He will let her go. He might be lying. Naomi goes down on him while he is driving. She then bites his dick hard. His face turns into purple. Austin screams in pain and drives off the lane. An oncoming car hits Austin's car, which forces Austin to drive off the cliff in turmoil. Austin is killed instantly. A broken glass pierced his throat. Naomi hits her head against the wheel and falls unconscious. The car is upside Gas is leaking. Seconds later, Naomi regains consciousness and sees the car is on fire. Naomi exits the car through the window right before it explodes. She climbs on the hill and gets on the road. Later, we finds Naomi walking in the street of Hollywood barefoot like Laura at the beginning of the film. She walks into a boutique owned by Laura. Naomi is lost. Laura asks her what happened. She tells her she doesn't remember. She invites her home, cleans her up, and gives her the same dress that she gives her earlier. Laura then introduces Naomi to John as her husband. They look at each other's eyes as if they know each other their whole life. The end. Chris is not only surprised Emma brought Mulholland Drive, but he also think it's an interesting story. Chris, that's a fascinating story. Emma, I put the whole thing in my head just now. Chris, I see. Emma, I am not going to use it. I know the critics would say it's a rip-off. She got the idea from Mulholland Drive. I need a new story. Chris, why not give it another shot? She thinks for 3 seconds. Emma, the story is told in series flashbacks titled Red Velvet. Laura is a singer and asked by a gangster named Dennis to put a red dress and sing. Dennis has already held hostage of her son and husband. He is forcing her to sing for his amusement. He rapes her as he pleases. He beats her as if she were a whore. He cuts her husband's ear off and shows her. If she does not do what please him, her son will be next. Then one day, Laura shoots and kills his goons. She shoots Dennis in the face. Laura then shoots and kills her husband and her son as well. So she will not go through the same pain ever again. Then in delusion, she finds herself walking in the street of Hollywood barefoot. The dirt on her feet actually is dry blood. But I am not going to write that either. I got the idea from David Lynch's Blue Velvet. On the soundtrack Diamonds by Rihanna plays. They continue to talk without a sound. Note, the music in the story will be replaced during the filming. It's to keep the readers in the mood for romance. Int. Mall, day. Chris and Emma take a walk in the mall. It's a different topic. She is talking about her boyfriend while licking ice cream. Emma, it was not really his fault. I've always valued my freedom more than anything. It is Hollywood. You make out with this guy, you fuck that guy. Fucking society, media, paparazzi, family, friends, even the ghost of Elizabeth Taylor put pressure on you to be with someone, get married and have kids as if it were a written law. You must date or die. Why can't I just make movies till the day I die? Even you go to a talk show. They all ask you who are you fucking. Simultaneously, they want you to be a fucking role model. But if you look at a dictionary, it says, an actress is nothing but a prostitute who has a license to sleep with whomever she pleases. That's true till she is caught in act off screen. She then loses her license and labeled as a whore. At least, I don't have to deal with that yet. I am not as famous as Jennifer Lawrence. Paparazzi are always following her. She says they don't let her breathe. Sometimes, I looked at tabloids and watch entertainment news. All they talk about is who fucks who. That's just sick. Chris, I hear you. She throws the ice cream in the trash and holds his arm as they continue to walk talking. Emma, let me ask you a question. There are 2 kinds of men in this world. It's for conversation's sake. I hate it when people say 2 kinds of this and that, reduce human behavior in 2 classifications as if the history of mankind and civilianization fell only in 2 categories. But in this case, we'll make exception. You know, let's assume there are 2 kinds of men, those who look at you and want to make love to you, get married and have babies. And those who look at you and fuck you till your pussy goes numb and never calls you again. By chance if they call you, it's to fuck till you fall in coma. Which one are you? Chris, I am almost married. Emma, what does that mean almost married? Chris, my girlfriend and I agree to live as a married couple. So we don't have to deal with paperworks. Emma, who's your girlfriend? Chris, Brie Larson. She is an actress. Emma, did she do any movie that I might have watched? Chris, I doubt it. They stand lips to lips. Emma, so do you want to have sex with me? They look deep into each other's eyes. Emma, I am fucking with you. I just want to see the dilation of your pupils. You have beautiful eyes. She gives him a soft kiss on the lips and takes his arm. They resume their walk at the direction of the camera as if they were lovers. On the soundtrack, music plays in easy. Int. Chris and Brie's house, living room night. Chris and Brie sit at the table and have dinner. Brie, they will start shooting tomorrow. It is in Orange County. I might be away for a couple of weeks. They got me a trailer. You know, I don't really feel like driving back and forth. The traffic is pain in the ass. If you don't have anything to do, why don't you come and hang around in the set? You can right there. Chris, I cannot stand movie set. I get motion sickness, you know, grips moving things, People talking and noises. I can't focus. Maybe I will drive in the night, and visit you when everybody falls asleep. Bree, what are you planning on doing the whole day? Chris, I might work on a new story. Bree, what is it about? Chris, I don't know it yet. Bree, by the way, thank you. She gets up, sits on his laps. They exchange soft kisses. Chris, for what? They talk between soft kisses. Bree, I think Jimmy cast me because you wrote the screenplay. Cheers, you don't really have to thank me. You auditioned and get the part. It has nothing to do with me. Universal hired me to write a screenplay before I met you based on Lady from Shanghai starring Orson Welles and Rita Hayworth. Bree, I don't care. They exchange soft kisses. Bree, the producers want to cast Jessica but Jimmy told them he won't shoot the movie without me. He said I gave the best audition. I know he was lying. They kiss intimately. Chris carries her and takes her to the bedroom kissing. Int. Bedroom, night. Chris and Bree make love. We stay with them for a bit. EXT Beverly Hills, day. Chris takes a walk in the neighborhood. Emma comes driving and pulls next to him. She is only wearing a swimsuit. Emma, get in. Chris gets in the passenger seat. Emma drives away. Emma, how is writing? Chris, still in progress. Emma, they told me you are a screenwriter. Seductive Pain, Part 2. Chris, who told you that? Emma, people in the business. Chris says nothing. Emma, I am going to Malibu Beach for a photo shoot. I want you to hang out with me. Chris, what are we going to do? Emma, whatever you desire. If you just want to talk about films, it's fine with me. We can take a walk in the beach and discuss about film noir. If you want to have sex, we will do it day and night till you're run out of semen. Chris, really? Emma, I am fucking with you. All of the sudden, I become a harlot. I haven't had sex for a while. Emma presses a button and play I Shot the Sheriff by Bob Marley and begins to sing. She knows the lyrics by the heart. She then. Emma, can you turn this into a screenplay? Chris, what do you mean? She pulls the car on the side of the road. Emma, I want to do a movie under the title of I Shot the Sheriff like Natalie Portman's Jane Got a Gun. Don't you remember us talking about it the other day? I might change my name to Emmylicious 420 Scotch. I have this story in my head. A girl grows marijuana in her backyard and this corrupted cop named John Brown finds out about it and wants piece of the action. She is willing to give him some. But he gets too greedy and comes to her house to kill her and steal her money. She shoots and kills him in self-defense. I know you can come up with a better story than that. But I love the title I Shot the Sheriff. I will ask Rihanna to sing the cover for the soundtrack. Chris, I like the idea of you growing marijuana in your backyard. What about supposed you hire a couple of employees? It's a small business but a well-organized operation manufacturing the best ganja in the nation. One day, while you are driving, John Brown pulls you over and searches your car without a warrant and finds weeds in the trunk. I saw Woody Harrelson in Out of the Furnace. He still got it. He can play John Brown if he doesn't mind. Emma, he won't mind. Chris, he was tipped and you know he wasn't supposed to search your car. John Brown says he is taking you to jail. However, you know, he's fucking with you. John just wants the piece of the action. You start paying him regularly, so he won't arrest you. It's a bribe. Meanwhile, you meet a man named Nathan who does animation in Hollywood. He is also an aspiring singer. You begin to go out with him. But you don't tell him what you do for living. Nathan doesn't know you are selling marijuana. You have two separate houses. One where you live. One where you grow weed. You live two lives as a respectful columnist for Vogue and a drug dealer like Neo in The Matrix. You tell Nathan you make money online as well. You have already set up a fake commercial website and has been investing money in stock market and making a killing in internet-based businesses, because you can't just lie. You have an expensive car, a boat, and beautiful house. He will suspect if you are just a journalist. Regardless, you involve with Nathan in a passionate sexual relationship. You can't get enough of him. He can't breathe without you. Then John Brown tells you he will cut Nathan's ears and fingers and expose you as well, if you don't increase the payment. It's mindless extortion. As a matter of fact, he wants equal partnership or he will just kill Nathan. You think he can't be serious? What's this? I do all the work and take the risky and he just collects the money. It makes no sense. This is unfair. However, you don't want to lose Nathan. You are head over heels in love with him. You begin to pay John Brown 50% and continues to have the time of your life with Nathan, making love everywhere you could think of it and having fun. He still doesn't know you are selling weed to meet ends and feed your expensive habits of adventures like sailing, traveling around the world, buying fashion dresses and sport cars, going out clubs and dance all night. You also loves to sing karaoke. Ironically, Nathan loves to sing I Shot the Sheriff for You and other Bob Marley classic songs, including One Love, Stir Up, No Woman No Cry and Waiting in Vain. You continue to fall madly in love with him. You say it's time to tell Nathan the truth. But can you really bring yourself into telling him the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You've never been happier in your entire life. You don't want to ruin it, period. But you can always walk away from the life, stop selling weed. You are not sure. Will he love you the same? You tell yourself fuck it. I will just tell him the truth. If he loves me, he will understand. You meet him at a romantic restaurant, have wine, and when you're about to tell him, he asks you to marry him. You accepts the proposal instinctively. You then confess you are a drug dealer. He tells you marijuana is not a drug. It's herb. He said it to make you feel loved regardless of what you do. You and Nathan make love all night. You marry him in a small beautiful wedding ceremony. You burn down your marijuana factory to the ground and move to a new house. Meanwhile, John Brown come to your new house to kill you and Nathan in cold blood and rob you everything. He knows you have stashed millions somewhere in the house. You were the most successful drug deal of all time. You were like Johnny Depp in Blow. You would have graduated to cocaine if it weren't for Nathan. You fell deeply in love with him and turned around your life. Regardless, you shoot and kill John Brown first. You and Nathan kiss French. The end. Emma, that's interesting story. Chris, we will work on it together if you want to. However, we might have to change the ending. John Brown brings 6 corrupted cops with him to kill you and Nathan. You have a well-scripted shootout versus the bad guys. Nathan helps your cause. You kill all of them and take the money that you saved, come to Paris and live happily ever after in the City of Light. Emma, I can't wait to see early first draft. You might want to add this. John Brown and corrupted cops take Nathan hostage. They beat him up and send me a video. John Brown tells me to give him $200 million that I made from selling weed or he will kill Nathan. I put $100 million in one bag and $100 million in another bag and come to an abandoned building where John Brown told me to be. I give him $100 million in exchange for Nathan. John asks me where is the rest of the money. I tell him I will give him as soon as he lets Nathan go. It's in a locker at St. Mary High School right across the street. I will give him the combination and number of the locker. John Brown lets him go. I gave him the money, get in the car. Nathan and I drive away and hide in a motel and lay low for a while. John Brown finds out the money is fake. He tracks us down and comes to kill us with 6 corrupted cops like you said. Nathan and I shoot and killed all of them. I killed John Brown when he is about to shoot Nathan. We come to Paris and kiss next the Eiffel Tower. Chris, that sounds better. Emma, anyway, talking about Paris. I was supposed to audition for Mr. and Mrs. Spy. It's a story about a girl who falls in love with a spy. She doesn't know he is a spy from UK. She works for CIA as a spy as well. They meet in Paris, fall in love and got married. Their jobs are to spy on a mysterious organization that is responsible for series of terrorist activities throughout the world without a sense of guilt and to eliminate them with extreme prejudice. The story has a twist. The terror is just to cause distraction. This mysterious organization has a secret agenda. They are building antimatter weapon on USA soil. They are planning to kill everybody, including insects, and send USA to the dark edge. It's up to Mr. and Mrs. Spy to stop them. I have already got the part, but at the same time, they asked me to audition whenever I have free time to see if I'm the right person for the role. It's optional. At first, I thought about auditioning. I then said, why should I audition for a role that I've already got? Besides, it's an action film. I'd just go to gym, run a couple of miles and kick asses like Jean-Claude Van Damme when the director says action. That's it. But I didn't want to disappoint them. It has beautiful dialogue. I agreed to audition. At the same time, I totally forget about the photo shoot. I called them this morning and told them I could not make it. I have a photograph session. You know, I might as well promote the film ahead of time or whatever. She starts the car and begins to drive. Chris, how long it is going to take the photo shoot? Emma, it might take a couple of hours. It's for the cover of Vogue. But don't feel bad. We'll sit and drink wine in between photographing. Humorously, or maybe sex. But I have a great story to tell you. EXT Emma's Mercedes convertible, day. An established shot of the Mercedes as they continue to drive in Pacific Coast Highway. On the soundtrack, Smooth by Santana Foot Rob Thomas plays. We see the Pacific Ocean on the left side of the car. EXT Malibu Beach, Vogue photo shoot day. Emma poses wearing a beautiful red dress. A professional photographer named Kevin take her pictures. We see the grips and assists in the background setting up all kinds of things. Chris stands nearby and watches her in wonder. He can't believe how sensual she looks. Emma gives him a wink. On the soundtrack, Smooth continues to play. She does a couple of poses as Kevin continues to take her photo. Then on the soundtrack, Somebody That's I Used to Know by Goya Foot, featuring Kimber plays. A makeup artist puts a little bit makeup on Emma's face as she changes her dress. Emma put on a beautiful translucent dress that shows her skin and does poses. Kevin photographs her. We stay with them for a bit. Vogue photo shoot, break. Chris and Emma talk while sipping wines. On the soundtrack Somebody That's I Used to Know falls in the background and plays softly. Emma, what's the difference between a script and a novel? Chris, when you write a film, sometimes you don't really have to use fancy words. You just get the idea out and let the actors, director, and the production team use their imagination and add more things as they shoot it. For instance, this photo shoot that you're doing. In the script, just write exterior, Vogue photo shoot day. Emma poses for Vogue. That is it. The director reads it and tells you what to do and where he wants to shoot it. But when you write a novel, it's different. You have to use a lot of beautiful words in order to get your reader's attention and keep them spellbound. Emma, what if the actors don't trust the director's instinct? Photograph is art. Chris, in that case, you have to write it down. She smiles in beauty. On the soundtrack, The Secret Garden, Sweet Seduction Suite by Quincy Jones featuring A.I.B. Sure, James Ingram, Barry White and E.I. DeBarge plays. Cut to Vogue photo shoot. Emma lies on a king-size bed that is placed next to ocean, just inside the shore, posing with a rose. She is wearing a beautiful Victoria's Secret linger. Kevin photographs her. Chris stands and watches her. Then an assistant brings a cute furry dog, takes the rose and gives Emma the dog. Emma plays with the dog. It's friendly. It licks her face. Kevin continues to photograph her. Then the grips bring a construction-like car. Kevin gets on the car, hangs on a belt and takes the photograph of Emma with overhead shot while she is playing with the dog. The same assistant takes the dog and gives her the rose. Emma is not wearing underwear. Kevin gives a female assistant a nod. She approaches Emma, pulls up her linger just a little bit revealing her private part seductively and stands aside. Kevin continues to take her photos. Then a male model comes in underwear. James then tells him to caress her private part with the rose. The model follows the instruction. Kevin takes a couple of photos of Emma and the male model. Then comes a beautiful female model named Sophia without a single drop of cloth. She replaces the male model. On the soundtrack, Secret Garden continues to play. Sophia gives Emma a kiss on the lips. Kevin photographs them. Kevin then tells Emma to put her underwear. Emma puts her underwear and lies on the bed. Sophia places her hand inside Emma's pant and kisses her lips French. Kevin continues to photograph them. The female model and does her part and stand aside. Emma then removes her underwear and lies on her chest alone. The same female assistant pulls up her linger revealing her curvaceous buttocks seductively. She gives her a cigarette. Emma takes the cigarette and smokes with style. Kevin takes a couple of pictures and tell Emma to cross her legs in the air. She crosses her legs like Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction. Kevin continues to photograph her. Cut to Vogue photo shoot. Emma lies on a bed mattress that is placed on the ocean and seems to be floating. The ocean is filled with red and black rose petals. There are red and black rose petals on the mattress as well. Emma is wearing a beautiful black fishnet linger. Her eyelids are painted with black makeup. Her lips are black red. Her nails are black. She's wearing a black wig and holding a black red rose and smoking cigarette. She looks a little bit gothic yet extremely erotic. We see her private part through the fishnet bikini that she is wearing. Emma gives various poses to John the assistants who are inside the water and Kevin who is hanging on a suspension on a boat to get overhead shot. Chris watches her standing at the shore. Emma takes a drag and breathes out the smoke. Kevin and John photograph her as the smoke leaves her lips seductively. Then the grips, who are inside the boat, bring a beautiful white furry cat and give it to John. He gives the cat to Emma. Emma does poses with the cat as Kevin and John continue to take her photos. They then take the cat and gives her a cute black rabbit. Emma poses with the rabbit. Kevin and John take her pictures. Cut to Vogue photo shoot. Emma lies on the water nude floating, facing the sky. There is something inside the water supporting her to stay afloat but we can't see it. We see a red rose on her private part. There are fresh red roses floating and artificial flowers that are set on fire around her. Kevin, who hangs on a suspension, and his assistants, who is inside the water continue to take her pictures from various angles. Vogue photo shoot. Emma poses nude lying on the shore. The wave crashes in her buttocks in corruption. Kevin captures the moment. It looks extremely seductive. He takes more pictures. Emma then gets up and kicks the water posing as Kevin continues to photograph her. We stay with them for a bit. Vogue photo shoot. Emma sits in the bathtub nude that's filled with pure water while holding a glass of whiskey and smoking a cigarette with style. The tub is placed in the shore, just inside the water. Kevin continues to take her picture. They then bring a black horse. It's super friendly. The trainer tells the horse to drink the water from the tub that Emma is in. The horse does what he is told. Kevin photographs them. Emma does a couple of suggestive poses with the horse while sitting in the tub, including the horse licking her face and hair. She gives the horse a whiskey while sitting inside the tub. Emma then gets up nude and kisses the horse on the cheek. It is unscripted. They all panic. But the trainer tells them it is fine. The horse is outgoing. Kevin continues to photograph her. Cut to. Emma sits in the bathtub nude filled with soap foam while pretending to be drinking whiskey from a hip flask and smoking a cigarette. The tub is placed in the shore. Kevin continues to take her picture. Cut to. Emma sits in a bigger bathtub filled with whiskey nude while pretending to be drinking Jack Daniels from a bottle, and smoking cigarette with style. There are 4-5 novels inside the tub and pages from a script. The tub is placed on the shore. We see few classic novels, 2 or 3 old typewriters, film noirs video cassette, Out of the Past, Double Indemnity, Gun Crazy and The Big Sleep, couple of cigarette butts, cigarette boxes, a whiskey bottle, roses and a red Victoria's Secret underwear. Kevin continues to take her picture. James gives her a script. Emma takes the scripts with her cigarette hand and pretends to be reading the script. Kevin continues to take her pictures. Then a female assistant gives her clear lens sunglasses, reading glasses. Emma puts it on and continues to read the script as Kevin takes her pictures. Kevin tells her to look straight at the camera. Emma gives him all kinds of beautiful facial expressions as he continues to take series close-up pictures. EXT Malibu Restaurant, Sunset. It's a beautiful restaurant. Chris and Emma sit at a table outside and have coffee in the sunset. Emma, I think I am turning into someone else. I had to touch myself like Miley Cyrus in order to keep myself arousal while I was shooting the photo. That's how I deal with my nerve. But I felt like Linda Florentino in Last Seduction. Chris, you look sexier than Linda Florentino. Emma, I probably fuck better than her. Chris, no doubt. Emma, do you really think I look sexier with black hair? Chris, you look erotic. Emma, what is erotic? Chris, something that is naughty and lewd. There is a silent moment. They gaze at each other eyes softly. Emma, humorously, you seem taken by my appearance? Chris, you kind of reminds me of my childhood crush. I had never met her in flesh. I even doubt if she ever existed back then. I didn't know what she looked like. Maybe she has black hair. I wouldn't never know. But I felt her in my soul. That sounds a bad fairy tale, doesn't it? Emma, not at all. Chris, but in all fairness, am I taken by your appearance? That's an understatement. It's like love at first sight. All of the sudden, all my enemies, foes, pain and phobias evaporate out of my mind and turned into lice that our beautiful French maiden, who looked like Marion Cotillard, used to kill them on my skull with her nails. You are my guardian angel. My alluring crepuscular twisted fantasy who came to annihilate my torment, horror, cold sweet, doubts and despair, and allowed me to dream without aversion, but adventure and suspense as if you were the only thing it matters. You gave me clean head, innocent but corrupted with thrill, perplexity and revelation. I got to see Hagia Sophia when my mother worked at USA Embassy in Istanbul, Turkey as a secretary in 90s. I was allowed to be this kid who had to figure out the street and steal a princess's heart in my mind like Aladdin, learn new culture and run like the wind. I fought with a couple of Turks like street cats. Lice found my hair somehow. Marion Cotillard searched them, splitting my hairs with her hands as if it were spy thriller. Found and squashed them on my skull. She always played beautiful Turkish songs on the stereo even though she was born and raised in Paris, and sang while searching those parasites on my head. I look at you. I feel her touch on my head. I used to sit between her legs on the steps of our front porch and let her have me. I liked the touch of her hands on my head. It's romantic. It makes meditation one of the most overrated things in life. I mean, I don't want to sound sadistic or anything. But when she caressed my hair, caught a louse and kills the bloodsucker on my skull. I don't know how to describe the feeling. It's phenomenon. They had been feasting on my blood like vampires in Transylvania. You hear them pop like a broken speaker. It's music itself. You put me in that state of mind as if you came to squash my panic attack, phobia, and nightmares, and set my imagination free. Emma, your mother were a diplomat? Chris, no, I just made it up. I never set foot outside the USA. I don't know what a louse look like. I must have read it somewhere or saw a documentary. I put everything in my head just now like Kaiser Soze in The Usual Suspects. Back when I was picking beans in Guatemala we used to make fresh coffee. Right off the trees, I mean. That was good. This is Diet Pepsi. Emma, that's something. But I didn't know you watch documentary. Chris, I don't usually watch documentary. But one time, I was at UCLA to see a friend. She called me and said she could not make it. She had to go to audition. It was the last-minute thing. I said fine. We agreed to meet at Starbucks in Sunset Boulevard after the audition in about 4 hours. There happened to be a screening at the James Bridge Theater. I sat in the back and began to watch to kill time. I swear I did not know what it was about. Maybe it was about how they grow rice in Southeast Asia. It's green without omission. There were tulips, lotus, and chrysanthemum here and there. The sky is blue and fragile. The sun is soft and forgiving. The air is clean. I could inhale the fresh scent of nature in its most excellent through the screen. I did kept it inside my spleen till it ached me and turned into black and white like cigarette haze in Humphrey Bogart's lungs after he kissed Lauren Bacall into Have and Have Not. And when I exhaled, my breath looked like smoke in a silent Christmas morning. You know, I felt innocence, at the same time cheated as if Aphrodite took my soul, sew wings on it and let it wander in the garden of tenderness, longing, and superstition, but left my body at the theater to sit in the dark. I was also kind of taken by how the lotus grows on water. Then the sun leisurely set deep in the meadow where heaven and earth meet with spellbinding twilight. The stars filled the clear sky. There were a young couple lying on a mattress. It's an English subtitle. It might have been a short shot in a documentary style. Everything looked real. The boy told the girl to close her eyes. She closed her eyes. He planted a soft kiss on her lips and asked her, "Do you see a star?" She said, "No, I don't see anything." I thought she was cold. He was trying to be romantic and all. He gave her another kiss. But this time, it was an intimate kiss. It lasted about 2 minutes. 120 seconds. Her eyes remained closed. "What about now?" he asked her. She shook her head no. "Most guys would say forget you, bitch. I am not going to play this game." You know, they would just get up and leave. Maybe shoot a tiger and bring its heart to prove they are beast. Yet he gave her a long intimate French kiss. He took her breath away literally. She was into it as well. You'd expect her to say I see a supernova. Yet she shook her head no. I thought maybe she was the girl after my heart, desirous of everything like Lana Turner in The Postman Always Rings Twice. However, he told her maybe my star is black. It only shines when you smile, the happiest, and falls deeply in love till your last breath. She smiles in beauty. He gave her a soft kiss. She opens her eyes, put her arm around his neck. And they kissed passionately and made love. I said the story of my life. I just got up and walked away. I knew it was not going to get better than that. That's when I decided to become a writer. And as bizarre as it sounded, I found a pitch-black paper-mate pen outside the theater. I picked it up, draw a heart on the back of my hand and pierced it with an arrow. Later, I turned it into a tattoo. Chris shows her the tattoo. Emma smiles in beauty. Emma, is that something? But did you just make it up? Chris, I will leave it you. It's True Detective with Jimmy Fallon. Emma, it's tricky. The geography South Asian, the rice, green without omission make it believable. It's something that you saw. The kissing and making love might sound fiction in a documentary. But you said it could have been short. You could get away with it. I like the air is clean. I could inhale the fresh scent of nature in its most excellent through the screen, till it ached me and turned into black and white like cigarette haze in Humphrey Bogart's lungs after he kissed Lauren Bacall into Have and Have Not. That's classic. It doesn't matter if it were true or lie. You then found a pitch-black paper-mate pen outside the theater and draw a heart on the back of your hand and pierced it with an arrow seems fairytale, but you have a tattoo to prove it. But I have never seen tulip, lotus, and chrysanthemum together even in a flower shop here in the City of Angels. I would say it's a half-true half-lie. Chris, I won't ruin it for you. Emma, what do you mean by she's the girl after your heart, desirous of everything like Lana Turner in The Postman Always Rings Twice? Chris, I don't know, I might have put everything together just now. Tulips, lotus, and chrysanthemum belong to you. Maybe, Lana Turner has nothing on you. I felt innocence, at the same time cheated as if Aphrodite took my soul, sew wings on it and let it wander in the garden of tenderness, longing, and superstition, but left my body at the theater to sit in the dark is referring to your black hair. I was going to say you set my heart on fire and raised from the ashes like Phoenix and then double-crossed my soul in the middle of the night, pretending to be an orange butterfly like Rita Hayworth in Gilda. But you look erotic in black like Ava Gardner in The Killers. Emma smiles in beauty. She types something on her cell phone and shows him the French skit that she did for SNL. Chris smiles in wonder. Emma, that is the French skit I did for SNL. I had a black hair. Chris, you looks like Mia on Pulp Fiction. Emma, I know every line of Pulp Fiction from beginning to end. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Chris, you might want to star in Pulp Fiction remake as Mia. Actually, let's just title it Missing in Action. Let me see. You play the same role that is played by Uma Thurman in the original movie. The story focuses on Mia Wallace. There will be few changes here and there. Vincent will be replaced by another young hitman named Vaughn since he was killed by Butch. Maybe, it is part 2. Vaughn works for Marcellus. Jules will come out of retirement or get replaced by another hitman Joel. It will be played by Anthony Mackie or anybody. Emma, I did a movie with Anthony Mackie. Gangster Squad. He is a good actor. Chris, Anthony plays Joel. He is Jules's cousin. One of Marcellus' right-hand men. Marcellus continues to rule Los Angeles underworld and might be involved in a couple of illegal activities including manufacturing new drugs and sell them in clubs what have you. Suppose he buys cocaine from Colombians and Mexican cartels and distribute them in Hollywood through actors, producers, and directors like True Romance while running various strip clubs throughout the country. You are his wife. In the meantime, you are trying to pursue a career in modeling and get back to acting as well. Emma, I appear on the cover of Vogue and various fashion magazines and involves in hot sexual affair with Vaughn behind Marcellus. Meanwhile, Mia might powder her nose here and there, party all night, dance as if there is no tomorrow and make love to Vaughn every chance she gets. Chris, however, you are trying to make a name for yourself in Hollywood. You becomes a major movie star. So what is next? Emma, I'm run out of idea. Chris, Vaughn and Jules carry out a couple of biblical hits. Honey Bunny and Pumpkin audition for a film and become film stars as well. Later, Pumpkin stars next to Mia and falls in love with her. They have an affair. Few drama will be added here and there, including Marcellus tracks down Butch wherever he is hiding and asks him to do him a favor. Marcellus wants Butch to come out of retirement and throw a fight. Butch refuses to throw any fight, kills the boxer again and runs away with Fabienne. They go after him in vain. However, we might have to leave out the briefcase. I still don't know what's inside the case. And I don't want to know. I like its mystery nature. I mean, some people say it's the devil's soul. But I doubt it. Emma, someone told me it's nuclear radiation based on Kiss Me Deadly. But it has nothing to do with Kiss Me Deadly. Back then they have issue with Cold War. Pulp Fiction is a gangster film. Chris, regardless, you don't want to give the audience the secret. We might have to keep it out. Emma, Pulp Fiction won't be the same without the briefcase. Chris, it's true. Suppose Mia steals the briefcase from Marcellus and sells it in black market. Marcellus then sends Jules and Vaughn to recover it. They kill them and recover it. But the movie focused on you. Mia is the star of the movie. Emma, that sounds good. Chris, however, most diehard Pulp Fiction fans don't want to watch part 2. Quentin will tell you it's a sin even to think about it. Emma, he can't blame you for trying. Chris, Mia makes nice HBO miniseries. Something can be done if Quentin say don't sweat it. Do whatever the fuck you want to do with it, and give them green light, except, imitating Samuel Jackson in Pulp Fiction, well, if you like TV, give them a try sometime. Me, I can't usually watch TV because my girlfriend's a movie star, which, pretty much makes me want to write feature films. But I do love good miniseries. Emma, playing along I feel you. Chris, that is a joke. Emma, I can see myself playing me a weather feature film or miniseries. Just write it down and let the chips fall where they may. Chris, I have to get some kind of approval from him. I know Quentin Tarantino doesn't believe in masterpiece. All he cares about is how his audiences feel about it. He might make them vote for petition who is against or for it. Emma, I am for it. Chris, we will talk to him together if we see him in street or con. Till then I will think something original for you. Emma, anyhow, they said they will cover my vagina with pixels and only show it to those who subscribe the issue online with additional payment. Chris, that's not a bad idea. Emma, some kind of pay-per-view I guess. They will also publish it in the first ever Vogue Starlet issue. 168 pages pictures of me like Vanity Fair icons. Chris, I can't wait to see the final result. But a million picture won't capture the light that emits from your skin. You are truly radiant. Emma, that's what I told them. But why do I feel like I have known you my whole life? I have never felt so free in my life when I am with you. Chris, humorously I tend to have that kind of effect on girls. Emma, are you sure we are not husband and wife in the past life? Chris, it is possible. Emma, I can look at your eyes and tell you all my secrets. Chris, what secret are you hiding? Emma, humorously I am not hiding any secret. Chris, I don't believe you. Emma, do I look like I am hiding secrets? Chris, tell me a secret. Every girl has a skeleton in her closet. Emma, I have a sensitive stomach. I am allergic to carbon monoxide from cars. I gets headache and nauseous. I will throw up if I eat anything before I drive. My therapy told me to avoid traffic at all cost. Chris, Humorously, I am more sensitive to carbon monoxide than anyone I know. I might need a spacesuit just take a stroll even in Beverly Hills. But I didn't know you were going to a therapy. Emma, it is a one-time thing. All my actress friends were seeing therapists and talking about it as if it were divine intervention. I decided to check it out myself. You know, I freak out over nothing. Sometimes, a little thing causes me stress out of blue. There is no explanation. I talked to a female psychiatrist about things that bothered me in general. It was quite comforting. It worked for a while. You know, she told me everything I wanted to hear. But most of the time, they just listen to what you have to say. I'd have gone every day and tell her the story of my life if I didn't have anything better to do. But simultaneously, I knew it was a waste of time. My grandmother would have done the same if she has an office and a license. She could do it from her house. You know, she might even make me a sandwich and ask me to sleep over. Besides, most of the female shrinks are prostitutes. They are like my age. I thought my shrink dropped out college. She was gorgeous. Her name is Veronica. She does not wear underwear or anything. She wears miniskirt. You see her vagina when she crosses her legs like Cher Stone in Basic Instinct. She said it helps people to be open about their sexuality, and they can easily overcome phobias. She was right. This audio file was created by Panopreader Basic. You can download it at www.panopreader.com. Seductive Pain, Part 3. Emma, I was telling her my sexual fantasies, S&M, BDMS, bandage, dominance, and submission, which I couldn't tell to my grandmother no matter what she cooks for me. It was fun. But I would rather read a novel and get somewhere intellectually instead of talking about my problems. That is my therapy. I love books more than life itself. Chris, reading is the best medicine. It cures anything. But nobody has the patience to read 450 pages. Emma, I have the patience to read 1,000 pages. I love reading. That's my home away from home. That's what I do in between acting. Otherwise, I would have gorged on cookies, coffee, and cigarettes. I can't sit in between takes and wait. I am not the most patient person in the world. Chris, I hear you. But going back to your secret. That doesn't count. It's just motion sickness. Emma, motion sickness is my secret. Chris, never mind. Emma, okay. I stole a lipstick from a department store when I was in high school in Arizona. Chris, that is not a secret. Emma, I felt kind of bad. It happened right before Winona Ryder's shoplifting incident took place. But I didn't get caught. Chris, still it doesn't count as a secret. Tell me a secret that you vowed never to tell a soul. Emma, why would I tell you something that I vowed never to tell to a soul? Give me one reason. Chris, you brought it. Emma, that is not a reason. It is a cause. Chris, what do you want me to say? Emma, I want you to say pretty please sugar on top, tell me a secret that you vowed never to tell a soul. Chris, you do not have to say anything if you don't want to. I won't hold it against you. Emma, I will tell you. I had sex with an actor that I worked with. Chris, that is nothing. Emma, he is married. Chris, I am not going to ask you who he is. Sex is part of cinema. Emma, I will tell who is. It's Edward Norton. Chris, truth or dare? Emma, the last time I dared, I got in trouble. But this time, I will go with the truth. They said the truth shall set you free. Chris, a lot of actress said sex scenes are one of the most uncomfortable takes in motion picture. What do you have to say about it? Emma, they are over-exaggerating. To be honest, I used to like it a lot. Then I met my boyfriend. I started developing self-conscious. It felt awkward. You know, you thought you were in love with your soulmate, whatever that means. In the meantime, you're in bed with an actor who thinks he has a lot to prove like the gods in Greek mythology. The director says action. You kiss. You fake the penetration, but he's sucking your tits and eating your private part. You're thinking about what's the love of my life would feel about this. Would he get turned on or he'd think I'm a slat? It throws you off. It took me a while to adjust. I mean usually, it has nothing wrong with sex scenes. It's the screenplay. Studios want you to fuck without dialogues. They just want to see action and sex. That's all. But if dialogue are amazing, the story is good and if the person is as mesmerizing as you, then I'd do it for real. I don't care if 25 men are standing with cameras recording. I'd get down dirty, raw penetration. Maybe, I hope whoever gets hurt. It could be his girlfriend. It might be his wife. They forgive me. Then when it's a wrap, I'll forget about it and move on with my life. Chris, that's graphic. Emma, I am a total prostitute. Chris, you do what you have to do. Emma, truth or dare? Chris, dare. Emma, tell me something that you have never told to anybody before. Chris, I don't have anything as graphic as yours. Emma, just make up something. Chris, I'll try my best. But it might sound like a little bit like God complex. Emma, humorously, I doubt it. You seem smart. I think God has your complex. Chris smiles in wonder. Chris, anyhow, I've always felt the stars, universe, multiverse, infinity, every single atom and particle in the cosmos belong to me. I thought they were my creation. You know, some kind of my higher conscious. I designed them without my knowledge. And if somehow I could channel all my potential and use 100% of my brain power, I would find myself in all matters and antimatter, from the smallest entity like strings and particles to the stars, galaxies, and multiverse. I'd walk through thin air, be infinite places and do infinite things at the same time. I thought every living things and non-living things were a part of me, like the stars in the universe were the cells in my body. The dark energy is the blood that run through in my veins, multiverses consist of my organs, except maybe I have always known you were a girl after my heart and soul. It hasn't changed. Emma, you are fucking romantic. Chris, it's nonsense. I just said that to get even with you. I'm still intrigued by what you just said, you'd do it for real and getting dirty and all. I must admit you had an amazing chemistry with Edward on the screen. Emma, I am kidding. I didn't fuck Ed. It's Ryan Gosling. Chris, not a big deal. Everybody has seen it coming. Emma, whatever. I just told you my secret. You tell me yours. Chris, humorously, I see dead people. Emma, fuck you, Haley Joel Osment. This is not fucking Sixth Sense. Tell me a secret that you vow to take it with your grave. Chris, I had sex with my cousin when I was in high school. She was a year older than me. Emma, is it blood related? Chris, no, it's not blood related. She was my aunt's stepdaughter from her second marriage, my mother's side. She was sleeping over. She comes in the middle of the night and shook me all night long, humorously. Wannabe by Spice Girls was playing on the stereo and she was singing with them the whole time while we were doing it. Emma smiles softly. Emma, who is your favorite Spice Girl? Chris, Orange Spice. Emma, who is Orange Spice? Chris, I meant Ginger Spice. I have always confused her with Orange Spice. Because she has red hair. I don't even know her real name. Emma, her name is Jerry Halliwell. She's my third favorite Spice after Mel B. Chris, who is your favorite Spice? Emma, Baby Spice. Chris, she is pretty. Emma, I like Sporty Spice as well. Chris, I was in love with Victoria Beckham. I had a crush on her. But is it true she never smiles? Emma, I've never met her. But I heard she never smiles. It's some kind of fashion statement. Chris, I think I might have met her once. She has a beautiful smile. Emma, really? Chris, I am kidding. It was a dream. They gave her a laughing gas. She didn't smile. They brought Charlie's Chaplin. He did the dancing Charlie with forks and breads. They then sat and watched City Light. She still didn't smile. Emma, I love City Light. It's one of my favorite movies. Chris, it's classic. David Beckham scored hat-trick including a free kick in the dying minutes vs Germany. England won the FIFA World Cup final 3-2. The players stripped their clothes, ran around the stadium in their underwear and celebrated the victory. She still didn't smile. Emma, maybe she is not into football. Chris, wait till you hear everything. They created a show called How to Make Victoria Beckham Smile. All kinds of comedians, clowns and magicians dead and alive came to the show and did everything to make her smile, including Richard Pryor, Mr. Bean, The Three Stooges, Eddie Murphy, Kevin Hart, Rat Pack, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis, Jr., Dean Martin, Peter Lawford and Joey Bishop. Emma, don't forget female comedians. Tina Fey, Carol Burnett, Amy Schumer, Sarah Silverman, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Amy Poehler, Gilda Radner, Ellen DeGeneres, Lily Tomlin and Kristen Wiig. Chris, they all came and did their routines. A sorcerer takes her breath, turned into a swan and made it talk like Lucille Ball. Even Dracula turns her tears into diamonds. The Queen of England played a saxophone. She still didn't smile. Emma, really? Chris, I am telling you. The Might Python took the fruit of good and evil from the Garden of Eden, made martini, poured it in the Holy Grail and gave her the drink with cheery. They then stripped their clothes and danced like the full Monty. She didn't smile. Jesus came out of retirement, turned water into whiskey, put Johnny Walker hat and held a cane and gave her a glass of scotch. He started out dancing like Fred Astaire puttin' on the Ritz in Blue Skies. He then stripped his clothes and danced like Channing Tatum in Magic Mike XXL. She still didn't smile. Emma, She has major issues. Chris, she even saw the boy in Fairy Tale, Lazy Jack, who carried a donkey and made the princess laugh. She didn't smile. Mark Wahlberg showed her his penis from Boogie Night. She didn't smile. They cancelled the show. God comes down from heaven. His angels held her hands. He trickles her armpits. Emma, that would it. Chris, she didn't smile. Emma, so what happened? Chris, Victoria and I were having an affair in my dream. I was this Casanova known to give women beautiful orgasms. We were watching There Is Something About Mary starring Cameron Diaz at my house. She asked me she wanted to have sex. I told her I couldn't do it. Emma, why? Chris, Victoria asked me the same question why. I told her it's because of Aphrodite, the goddess of love, played by Angelina Jolie in my dream. I broke her heart. She put a curse on me. Emma, I can see Angelina Jolie as Aphrodite in a feature movie. Chris, I will write her something maleficent but seductive when I get free time. You might want to play Psyche. Emma, I will think about it. What curse did she put on you? Chris, Victoria said the same thing. What curse are you talking about? This morning I waked up and found vagina on the place of my penis. She said let me see it. I showed it to her. She said Aphrodite is a major bitch. We still made love. I gave her a beautiful orgasm. Later, we took a bath together. She then saw me putting down the toilet seat. I sat and took a leak. She finally laughs. Emma, playing along, did she really laugh? Chris, no. She didn't laugh. I prayed day and night. I promised Aphrodite all kinds of things and a couple of screenplays and got the curse lifted off. I got my penis back. We made love for hours. I even did my Zen master thing. You know, I controlled my semen in the middle, stopped halfway at will and came minutes later. She didn't smile. I asked her why don't you smile? She said she always smiles when I go down on her. Later, I set up a hidden video camera and recorded it. She was lying. She didn't smile. She just wore down my tongue in vain despite the fact making all kinds of sexual sounds. Emma, I can visualize Victoria Beckham making sex sound like a porn star. Chris, I won't lie to you. It was as good as smiling. Regardless, I asked her, you never smile, do you? She said she always smiles when we make love in the cloud. It was a dream. I made love to her in the cloud like the angels would make love to the stars. The cherubs and seraphs and the rest of Spice Girls sing two become one. I envisioned she was smiling like the sun breaking through the cloud in the evening. I actually felt it on my lips when I kissed her. Emma, that is something. But you said you saw her smiling. She has a beautiful smile. Chris, that happened later. I ran into her at the British Museum in London. She asked me what I was doing there. I showed her a portrait of her that I drew. In the portrait, Victoria is smiling enigmatically like Mona Lisa. She still didn't smile. I then showed her a nude portrait of her that I did in my dream. She didn't smile. I showed her a painting that I did of her with Joker makeup. She didn't smile. I took a knife and put it in the edge of her mouth and told her why so serious. She was not intimidated a bit. I cut the corners of her mouth. She still didn't smile. The wounds healed miraculously. She was serious as hell. I then showed her clones that I created in the lab and told her she looks beautiful when she smiles and asked her clones to demonstrate that to her. They gave her all kinds of smiles one by one to pick as if they were walking on a catwalk. She refused to pick. In the end, Ed Sheeran played Kiss Me on the piano. I asked her to dance. We danced slow. We kissed intimately for a minute and parted our lips. She touched her heart and said she couldn't feel her heartbeat. She asked me if I stole her heart. I told her maybe. I showed her heart on my hand. I then turned her heart into a rose and gave her the flower. She wanted to know how I did it. I whispered something on her ear. She finally smiles in beauty like the sun breaking the clouds in the morning and inject a dahlia with soft beams. It was evanescent but it felt eternity in my heart. Emma, that's romantic. But what did you whisper on her ear? Chris, it's a dream. I forgot what I said. Emma, I will let you off the hook, because it's freezing. I want you to come with me and help me buy a dress that I'm going to wear tonight. This audio file was created by Panopreter Basic. You can download it at www.panopreter.com. We are going out dinner. However, before we go anywhere, I am going to ask you one last question. What's Zen Master? You said you stopped semen halfway. What do you mean by that? Chris, it's a joke. It's impossible to stop orgasm halfway. I don't care if you're Buddha or the devil or God, once you reach climax, everything leaves without a warning. It's beyond our control. On the soundtrack, Say You Will Be There by Spice Girls plays. Chris and Emma continue to talk without a sound. We dexterously pull out of the restaurant. Int. Fashion store, day. Emma comes out of the dressing room wearing a beautiful gown designed by Versace and shows Chris her outfit, posing like a model while dancing. On the soundtrack, Say You Will Be There continues to play. Emma is singing with them. Cut to. Emma comes out of the dressing room wearing a gorgeous gown designed by Stella McCartney and poses for Chris while singing and dancing. Cut to. Emma comes out of the dressing room wearing a seductive dress designed by Marc Jacobs and does a pose for Chris. On the store stereo Where Do You Go by No Mercy plays. Emma sings and dances approaching Chris and asks him to dance with her. Chris pretends to be dancing. Emma knows the lyrics. They then stand lips to lips and gaze at each other's eyes as if they want to kiss from here to eternity. Emma gives him a soft kiss and continues to dance. Cut to. Emma comes out of the dressing room wearing a beautiful gown designed by Zuhair Mural shows Chris her dress, posing. On the soundtrack, These Eyes by the Guess Who plays. Cut to. Emma comes out of the dressing room wearing a beautiful unique wrap dress designed by Diane von Furstenberg while singing These Eyes with the Guess Who. And Dance Like Mia played by Uma Thurman when she sings Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon by Urge Overkill in Pulp Fiction while wearing Vincent's coat. Emma then unwraps the dress and shows Chris her breasts and she is not wearing anything inside. She takes his hand and places it on her butt. Emma tells him to pinch it. Chris pinches it a little bit. Emma smiles in beauty, covers herself seductively, gives him a juicy kiss on the lips and returns to the dressing room as if she were walking on a catwalk. Chris can't believe it. He just smiles softly in wonder. Cut to. Emma comes out of the dressing room wearing a glamorous translucent gown designed by Vera Wang and shows Chris the dress. We can see her breasts and vagina through her dress. She is seducing him. Yet Chris thinks she looks breathtaking. Emma walks up to him and poses for him like a supermodel as if she is making fun of them. Emma then turns around and walks toward the dressing room while showing him her sweet butt. On the soundtrack, Rhythm is a Dancer by Snap plays. Cut to. Emma comes out of the dressing room wearing a beautiful gown designed by Betsy Johnson and poses for Chris while dancing. Cut to. Emma comes out of the dressing room wearing a breathtaking gown designed by Veronique Brankenho and poses for Chris while dancing. Cut to. Emma comes out of the dressing room wearing a tantalizing dress designed by Chanel and poses for Chris while dancing. Cut to. Emma comes out of the dressing room wearing a seductive gown designed by Christian Dior and poses for Chris while dancing. Cut to. Emma comes out of the dressing room wearing an alluring gown designed by Saint Yves Laurent and poses for Chris while dancing. Cut to. Emma comes out of the dressing room wearing a sensual gown designed by Valentino and poses for him. That's the best. Chris is taken by her sense of sensuality. She walks up to him and gives him a soft kiss on the lips. Emma, what do you think? Chris, it's beautiful. Emma, I like your sweatpants. They do not mind at the restaurant. But the guards at the club might not let us in. They are assholes. I'm buying you a cloth. They kiss French. Montage. Chris comes out of the fitting room wearing all kinds of clothes, and shirt, jacket, dress pants, and suits, and shows to Emma. On the soundtrack, One More Time by Daft Punk plays mixed with Mr. Vane by Culture Beat plays. Emma comes to Chris and dances with him. Int. Restaurant, day. It's a fancy 5-star restaurant. Chris, who is wearing a suit, and Emma, who is wearing a breathtaking Valentino dress, sits at a table and have seafood. They are not really eating. They are gazing at each other's eyes as if they have known each other their whole lives. On the stage, a girl named Sophia sings Come Undone by Duran Duran, lyrics and chorus. There is a man named Jack behind a piano. Emma, I love this song. Emma sings with Sophia Come Undone. She is pretty good. She knows the lyrics. Chris is impressed by her sense of music. Emma, do you believe in reincarnation? Chris, I don't know, do you? Emma, I want to, but we can't prove that we lived in the past, can we? Suppose they say Sofia Coppola were Elizabeth Bathory or Michael Bay were Hitler in the previous life. I never worked with neither of them. But I remember Megan Fox calling Michael Bay Hitler and the media making big deal out of it. She got fired from Transformers. It's stupid. Nevertheless, how can you disprove it? Chris, how does reincarnation really work? Is it like karma? Do we get punished in the present for something that we did in the past without our knowledge? You know, I don't like the idea having no control over my fate. At least, they should tell me I was Hitler or some mean person in the past life and prepare whatever punishment is waiting for me. Emma, if they have told me I was Elizabeth Bathory, I would pitch the idea to HBO and star as Liz. The fictional tale of Elizabeth Bathory who killed close to 650 people or more. You know, set in modern-day New York City. She fucks, tortures and kills attractive male and females New Yorkers and tourists who come to visit the city. She then writes articles about it like Sarah Jessica Parker Sex in the City, except she does it online. However, if they told me I was Mother Teresa, I would have slit my wrist and kill myself knowing I had lived my life without sex. Chris, when did Mother Teresa die? Emma, in the 19th century before the suffrage. Chris, what is suffrage? Emma, it's the women right to vote. But it is a joke. Mother Teresa died when I was 9 in 1997. First Princess Diana was killed in August 31 and 5 days later Mother Teresa hit the bucket in September 5. This audio file was created by Panopreter Basic. You can download it at www.panopreter.com. That was the first time I understand the full scale of death when Princess Diana died. I used to think people just get old, die and go to heaven like Mother Teresa or hell based on what they have done while they were alive. But Princess Diana death changed my point of view toward death. It affected me surrealistically. It did not hit me right away till later in my life. I did a lot of soul searching. I asked how the universe did form. What's Big Bang? You know, you might have mentioned it earlier. How did we get here? Where did life come from? What is consciousness? Does God exist? If he does exist, who created God? I then got sucked into Buddhism and reincarnation. I guess everybody goes through that phase. We are in the age of reason, but passion rules our hearts to the core. You know, I would rather be told nothing about my past and be punished in the present without my knowledge if there is reincarnation and continue to live my life to the fullest. Chris, I look at you. I see the most beautiful girl that God has ever created. The world has never seen anything quite like you and would never be one like thee again. Emma, thanks for the compliment. But do you believe in God? Chris, sometimes. Emma, what do you mean sometimes? Chris, I believe in God at this particular moment. Don't ask me why. But I see your eyes. God must have created you with stardust instead of dirt and breathed light on your soul. You look radiant. Emma, you are romantic. Chris, I am a writer. I say anything to make you think I am all that. Emma, convince me. Chris, I had an erotic dream last night making love to you. Emma, I am turned on, but are you trying to seduce me? Chris, what do you think? Emma, I think you want to insert your penis inside my bird's nest and inspect my snooch till I am out of breath. He smiles in wonder. Chris, you are too much. I can't fuck with you. Emma, you are the one who had erotic dream making love to me. Chris, that was a joke. Emma, I thought it was quite seductive. I was thrilled to have sex with you in your dream. Chris, I don't believe you. Emma, how was I? Chris knows what she means. Chris, you were pretty amazing. Emma, was I on top or lying on my back missionary or doggy style? Did you pull my hair? What position did we do it? Chris, cowgirl and missionary. We might have done it doggy style, but I don't remember. Emma, did you come? Chris, I think so. Emma, what do you mean think so? Chris, when I waked up in the morning, I had the biggest hard-on in my life. Emma, that's quite comforting to know I had that kind of effect on Romeo's reincarnation. But still you didn't answer my question. Chris, what was your question? Emma, did you have orgasm? Chris, kind of. Emma, what is kind of? Chris, it doesn't count. Emma, why not? Chris, it's a dream. You know, same as masturbating without the aid of your hand even though it was half real. Emma, what is half real? Chris, I felt the heat of your naked body when I cuddled you. I swear you lips were the sweetest thing I have ever tasted in my life. I thought it was real. When I waked up in the morning, I realized it was only a dream. I closed my eyes. I saw your face as if you were there with me. I could hear the beat of my heart the bottom of my belly. It is seductive pain. I never felt so helpless in my life. I kissed your lips and let the crimson shade of spell flourish in my soul and manifest under my skin and intoxicate my mind until it sent electricity through my soul, down my spine, bones, and every cell and nerve in my body, which made my heart twitch violently with adrenaline. Excitement vixen with tenderness. A teardrop in secret garden of lotus. Exit wound from top of my heart down the bottom. I felt my soul shackled with sin and corruption like a gladiator chained with indignity but glory, and at the same time, a bird sitting on its nest that it built in the sky and dared to fly away beyond the stars in their loss of innocence. It then distorted from a feeling of endearment into something enchanting, fever, temptation, lust, and beautiful sensuality. And I knew it right then, you were the one whom I had been looking for my whole life, and the only one who was going to make a difference in my short time of existence. I felt it before I even laid my eyes on you, and I know I am here to show you the art of love, romance, and passion till my soul consummated with pain, pleasure, wrath and rapture. Emma, you're super romantic. I must have sex with you right now at this particular minute. Let's go to the bathroom and do it. Chris, humorously, I have a lot of adoration for you. I don't look at you like that. Emma, like what, a whore? Chris, no. You are a special. Emma, if I am not a whore, so what am I? Chris, a princess. Emma, I am proud of you. Chris, thanks. She looks at his eyes. Emma, I think I am in love with you. Chris, you don't want to fall in love with a writer. They break your heart. Emma, I will take my chance. Chris, they are crazy. Emma, I doubt you are as crazy as me. Chris, if you say so. But I warned you ahead of time. Emma, tell me about it. Chris, I have this devil inside my head. Emma, you can't be serious. Chris, he was telling me to write about Mr. Vane earlier. I just ignored him. Emma, what's Mr. Vane? Chris, it's about a screenwriter named Louis who sleeps with actresses. They just come to his house, take their clothes off and throw themselves at him. He makes love to them and writes them screenplays in 2 weeks or less. They say he's gifted. Whatever that means. In the meantime, he throws all kinds of parties once in a while and make loves to supermodels and some of the most beautiful girls in the world. But Louis enjoys making love to actresses and writing the sexiest screenplays for them. He is Mr. Vane. But you can't blame him 100%. They all are irresistible. He looks at it as a challenge. He is also romantic. Girls wants a piece of him regardless of what, like a messiah. Till he meets a beautiful actress named Amelia. Note, we might see Chris in the male lead role and Emma in the female lead role. Chris, she takes his breath away. His pride evaporates away from his lungs when he sees her. His soul leaps out of his heart. He just gives it sacrosanct atonement to fly away with her. She falls head over heels in love with him as well. They set the city of angels on fire, building mysteries, making love everywhere they can think of it, getting in all kinds of adventures and making beautiful films. Amelia wants him just for herself. Louis cannot get enough of her. They continue to turn Los Angeles upside down, making history. They take Hollywood by storm. However, Louis is classic Mr. Vane. He sleeps with an actress named Jessica whom Amelia has bad blood with. Amelia and Jessica are a rival. They are the number 1 and 2 actresses in Hollywood. Jessica is a bad girl. She is sort of the antagonist. She has stolen a couple of roles from Amelia. She is a little bit aggressive. If she wants a role, she will go to extreme length and get what she wants. She doesn't hold her feeling. And if there is a best script out there, it's usually between Amelia and Jessica. Louis just wrote one of the best screenplay for Amelia and left it at her trailer. It was a surprise for her birthday. He never told her about it. Amelia and Jessica were filming together. Jessica had seen Louis with the gift and leaving with empty hand. Out of curious, Jessica came to Amelia's trailer and opened the present. It's a screenplay titled The Scent of True Love. She read the script before Amelia even looked at it, and fell in love with it. She came to his Louis's house in the middle of the night while Amelia doing her takes at Universal Studio. They were shooting 24/7 and behind schedule. Jessica seduced Louis. She removed her clothes nude and tells him your girlfriend is fucking another man. You are here at home alone. You deserve better. They kissed and made love. It's Louis's rule. If he makes love to an actress, he has to write her a screenplay. But Jessica wants the scent of true love. She secretly had recorded the sex with her cell phone. She says she will show the video to Amelia if he doesn't give her the script. Louis has no choice. But first, he has to change the name. He usually uses Etta when he writes script for Amelia. He changes it to Marta. He uses anonymous. He does not want to take credit for the screenplay either, so Amelia won't suspect. Jessica wins Oscar. Later, Jessica shows Louis the original copy of the script, which has the name Etta. Jessica tells him she just wants Louis to make love to her. It's extortion. Louis and Jessica begin to have an affair behind Amelia. He likes her even though she is sort of manipulative and devious. She is a con artist. He finds it attractive. In the meantime, he writes both Amelia and Jessica some of the best screenplays ever written in Hollywood. Later, Louis has to end it with Jessica. Rumor of their affair become the talk of Hollywood. Tabloids are writing about them. Paparazzi even photographed them together. Louis tells Amelia there is nothing between him and Jessica. They are just friends. He loves Amelia more than life itself and asks her to marry him. They get married. Jessica is disturbed. She tells HBO everything in exclusive interview. They even show the sex video that she secretly had been taping. Jessica sent the copy to Amelia as well. Amelia can't believe what she is seeing. She is upset. She confronts Louis. He says he is deeply sorry. She tells him he is a liar and leaves him. Louis collects his thoughts and writes Amelia the best screenplay and apologizes to her. She forgives him. He gets behind the camera and directs the film himself. She sweeps the awards and even graces the cover of Time. Critics praise her performance. Amelia wins Academy Award. Louis and Amelia kiss French. He promises never to break her heart again. They kiss more intimately. The end. Emma, that's an amazing story. Chris, I just created the story in my head now as I go after I listened to Mr. Vane at the boutique. Emma, it's kind of a catchy Mr. Vane. Chris, I am not going to touch it. Emma, how come? Chris, I told you I had the devil inside of me. He is the one who came up with the idea. I'll keep ignoring him and write something serious. Emma, it's not a bad story. Chris, I had a similar idea. You know, an actress fell in love with a screenwriter. They wrote a screenplay together. He then gave the screenplay to Julia Roberts. In the end, he made up to her. You know, he wrote her a novel and turned into screenplay. She ended up winning Oscar. It's based on Sunset Boulevard. Emma, I thought Mr. Vane was classic. You know, Jessica should have sent her a sonography of her baby. She is pregnant with Louis's baby. That would drive Amelia into madness. Chris, I will think something original. You know, maybe Mr. and Mrs. Vane. A story about a couple. He is a screenwriter. She is an actress. They both cheat, lie and try to kill each other, despite the fact they are madly in love. Perhaps, it could be one of the screenplay Louis wrote for Amelia, along with Mrs. Vane. A story about a woman who just goes out and have fun. I will think something erotic. Let me collect myself. I am kind of lost at the moment. Emma, what do you mean lost? Chris, I might have to take it easy. There is a lot of things in my brain. Emma, what are you working on? Chris, I have no idea. I am taking a journey to the unknown, even though usually, you create a story in your head. You build a beginning, middle, and ending, then sit and write the story. Emma, give me an example. Chris, suppose I look at you and decide to write a movie. What do you like, action, comedy, drama, mystery, or romance? Emma, surprise me. Chris, we just listened to the girl singing the cover of Duran Duran Come Undone on the stage. Let's create a story together under the title of Come Undone. I don't know the lyrics. But I like the title. It's a story about a man named Jonathan who comes to visit his brother Jacob, who is married to a girl named Mia and ends up falling in love with her. Emma, is that the synopsis? Chris, I don't know it yet. I am creating the story as I go. Mia is played by you. She is attracted to Jonathan, who is hiding a dark secret from his brother. Later, Mia and Jonathan involve in a passionate sexual affair behind Jacob. In the meantime, a couple of bounty hunters are looking for him. Note, we might see Chris in the male lead role and Emma in the female lead role. Chris, Jonathan was having an affair with a married woman named Sienna. He got her pregnant. Her husband Antonio found out, killed her and made it look like an accident. But Jonathan knew it was not an accident. He was in love with Sienna. In revenge, Jonathan killed Antonio, her husband, and ran away. This audio file was created by Panopreter Basic. You can download it at www.panopreter.com. Seductive Pain, Part 4. Chris, Richard, Antonio's father, hired 10 the most bloodthirsty bounty hunters in the country to bring him dead or live. Jonathan hides in a motel with Mia. The bounty hunters kill his brother in purpose to get Jonathan's attention. Mia and Jonathan kill the bounty hunters. They then kill Richard and run away together to Europe in order to avoid capture. They kiss in the beach at the French Riviera while lying on the shore and waves crashing on their bodies as the credit rolls. Emma, that's interesting. Humorously, I have a pretty good understanding how they make movies in Hollywood now. You have a beginning. A protagonist, who is harboring a secret, comes to visit his brother and falls in love with his brother's wife. In the middle, they have an affair. Meanwhile, his secret catches up with him. A man killed a woman whom the protagonist was in love with and who were pregnant with her lover's child. The protagonist killed the man and ran away. The bounty hunters come to kill him. In the end, the protagonist has to face his enemies. They had interesting shootout. The protagonist and his inamorata kill the bad guys and leave the town. Or they get shot and die in each other's arms if you want to make it tragedy. But suppose the bounty hunters kidnap Mia and torture her at an abandoned building like I Shot the Sheriff. They tell Jonathan if he doesn't turn himself, they will kill Mia. Jonathan turns himself. They beat him. When they are about to kill him, he clicks a button on his watch. It's a small helicopter programmed with explosive device. It enters through the window and explodes in the midair. That is all the distraction he needs. Jonathan kills the bad guys and saves Mia. You get your blockbuster. Chris, It doesn't get any better than that. But we can always toy around with the idea. Actually, it was inspired by Mud starring Matthew McConaughey and Reese Witherspoon. Some people don't like a lot of shootouts. Instead, Jonathan was a notorious womanizer. Emma, humorously, I like a womanizer. They are unpredictable. Chris smiles in wonder. Chris, he was sleeping with various beautiful girls in New York City. Marissa, one of the girls who he was betting, told him she was pregnant with his baby. He told her to have an abortion, so he doesn't have to pay child support and might hurt his chance with a girl whom he was trying to win her heart. Marissa refused to have an abortion. Jonathan tricked her into a boat ride and killed Marissa by drawing like George Eastman, played by Montgomery Clift, in A Place in the Sun, also starring Liz Taylor. That is his dark secret. He then leaves New York City and comes to his brother's house in Los Angeles. Jonathan falls in love with Mia at sight. She is his brother wife. It has been built up. You pretend there is nothing between you and Jonathan. But you don't know whether it is love or it's the devil tempting your soul. You are attracted to him beyond your wildest fantasy. You can't take it anymore. One day, you come to his room in the middle of the night without a single drop of cloth and have sex with your brother-in-law. Your husband is sleeping. You know you put sleeping pills in his drink. Later, your husband goes to Paris for business. You still loves Jacob. Wait a second. Let's borrow few ideas from Shadow of Doubt starring Joseph Cotten and get rid of all the bounty hunters and make Jonathan a charismatic serial killer who seduces rich beautiful married women and sleeps with them. He then kills and robs them. It's based on Uncle Charlie. Maybe he doesn't give a fuck about whether they are rich, poor, married or unmarried. As long as they are beautiful, he would prey on them. Jonathan has mastered the art of seduction, romance, sex, and love. He does their portraits, write poetry on their bodies and photograph them nude and does art and photo galleries. He doesn't care about money. He is an artist. Every girl in town wants to go bed with him. He makes love to some of the most beautiful girls in the world like Louis. He then strangles them with his ties and takes their breaths away literally just as he comes inside them. He leaves the ties at the crime scene. Later, a model is found murdered. She was strangled with a tie. Mia suspects Jonathan might have something to do with the model's death. She has seen his suitcase. Jonathan has all kinds of expensive ties. Mia ignores the fact he might be a serial killer and continues to involve with him in passionate sexual affair, even allowing herself to be strangled as part of achieving higher level of sexual climax. We can even change the title to Justify My Love and give the movie some kind of edge. Jonathan introduces Mia to all kinds of sadistic sex and eroticism. In the meantime, Mia is also harboring a secret. She has mastered in all kinds of S&M sex. You are nothing like any girl he has ever met. You have matched his erotic madness in bed. You then find out that he is a serial killer after he gives you a necklace that has the picture of one of his victims. Yet, it turns you on even more. You do not mind dying on his hand any second. You have experienced pleasure you thought it never existed. It's beyond your wildest sexual fantasy. Love is just a word that people use in vain. You don't know what it is. Your heart is in a lot of pain caused by pleasure. You just want to go bed with him and get lost in excitement. Sometimes, he strangles you till you die and brings you back with CPR. You and Jonathan then end up making love all night. Sex after returning from death is the most climatic feeling of all time. You reach the ultimate peak. You also enjoy video recording the act. You record your death experience in video and join him in his crime, killing beautiful girls and videotaping the crime. However, you are still married to his brother Jacob, who is taking care of business in Paris. He is CEO and owner of a fashion magazine called Pink Noir. It's the equivalent of Vogue. You are a model. He returns from Paris. You don't know whether to tell him the truth or kill him. As a matter of fact, you still love him but you are not in love with him. You ask him for a divorce. Wait a second. Let's go back a little bit and make Jacob a crook like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street. He has scammed billions. He is not even Jonathan's real brother. They were adapted. Jacob has stashed millions in a safe at his house. FBI is looking for Jonathan. He has to leave the town as soon as possible. You want to leave with Jonathan, and tell him about the money in the safe. Jonathan doesn't feel like killing Jacob. They grew up together. But Jonathan needs the money if he is going to continue to run away from authorities, and you are going to come with me. I meant Jonathan. Emma smiles in beauty. She is taken by the story, and is listening to him silently. Note, in the film, most of the stories will be kept short. They are told in 5 lines or less. It depends on the story. Since this is a book, we get to watch everything. Even in the movie, if it's convenient, we might watch some of the stories as the characters narrate them in voiceover. Emma, I am not going to hold it against you. He smiles softly. Chris, anyway, Jonathan and Mia kill Jacob, bury his body in the forest, take the money, come to Paris and continue to involve in S&M sex with all kinds of beautiful girls. You continue to tape him as he strangles them to death. He only brings you back, because he is in love with you. He doesn't really care about the rest of them. The end. Emma, did you just come up with the story? Chris, something like that. Emma, I like Justify My Love. It is the title. Chris, that was supposed to be a joke. Emma, you should write it down on something. Chris, I doubt it. I might have got the idea from Stoker starring Mia Wasikowska, Matthew Good, and Nicole Kidman. I watched it 2 years ago. It's based on Shadow of Doubt. They might say it's a rip-off. Emma, I saw Stoke. It's a completely different movie. I like the love scenes. I can picture myself being strangled to death with a chain during sex, and you bringing me back with CPR. That's original. It's never been done before. Chris, I didn't say anything about chain, did I? Emma, no, you did not. I just thought chains are more erotic than ties. I like the cold feeling around my neck. Chris, have you done it before? Emma, this is the first time I heard anybody talking about strangling someone to death while fucking them and bring them back to live, and continue to have sex all night in order to achieve the ultimate sexual climax. It's insanely erotic. Chris, I just said it to impress you. I am neither going to strangle you nor play the part. Emma, I am impressed. She removes her underwear and throws at him. Emma, just keep it. Chris puts it in his pocket. Emma, that is one of the sexiest plots I have ever heard. I can't wait to do it. But first, I want to take you to this place in Hollywood. It is cabaret/karaoke. Guys have to take off their shirts. Girls strips their clothes naked if they want to. They are allowed to be nude. They have professional backup singers and dancers. It is $10,000 to get in. But they will let us for free. I know the person who owns it. I dance and sing for free. The reason people pay $10,000 is to see celebrities make fool out of themselves in the name of charity. It's once in a month. Int. Hollywood Cabaret Night. Alexandra Daddario sings Rihanna's Disturbia. She is topless. There are professional singers and dancers who are singing and dancing with her. The lyrics can be seen on flat screens. We see Alexandra Daddario in various big television screens throughout the club. All kinds of glamorous people, elite group, beautiful girls, and movie stars sit and enjoy the show. Chris and Emma has the best seat in the house at the VIP section. Chris, what you going to sing? Emma, I Touch Myself by Divinely. Chris, that's a pretty good choice. Emma, they only allow you to sing sexy songs. They don't allow you to sing regular songs like Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer. They don't have that in the list. Chris, I Touch Myself is sexy. Emma, what about I Am Slave for You by Britney Spears? Chris, that is sexy as well. Emma, I might sing something else. It's a surprise. Chris, I like surprise. Emma, what are you going to sing? Chris, humorously Rico Suave. Emma, do you speak Spanish? Chris, no. It's a joke. I don't know the lyrics. Emma, so what are you going to sing? Chris, I might sing Every Little Step by Bobby Brown. Emma, you are into 80. Chris, not really. MTV was showing 80 classic songs few weeks ago. It must be the golden age of music. That was the era when Madonna became a star and Michael Jackson set the bar high. I just sat and watched while working on old screenplays. Emma, I just missed out the hairband and Vanilla Ice myself. Chris, they have Ice Ice Baby? Emma, I doubt it. Where is the karaoke book? Looks around for the book and cannot find it. Someone took the book. Emma gets up, goes to another table, grabs a karaoke book, returns to her seat, opens the book and looks at the list of the sexy songs that are available. Emma, Vogue by Madonna. Anytime Anyplace by Janet Jackson. Usher Climax. Next Lifetime by Erykah Badu. Here, take a look at yourself. Chris looks at the lists. There are a couple of sexy songs. His eyes catch a reggae song Boombastic by Shaggy. Chris, I will sing Boombastic. Emma, what is that? Chris, it's a reggae. But I was kidding. I will just sing Sexual Healing by Marvin Gaye. Emma, please don't sing that. Everybody sings that song. Before she even finishes the sentence, Joseph Lovett-Gordon begins to sing Sexual Healing on the stage shirtless. Emma, they didn't even let me finish my sentence. She looks at the singer. Emma, is that Joseph Lovett-Gordon? Chris looks at the singer. Chris, I think it's him. Chris and Emma watch Joseph. 6 professional female dancers dance around him in seduction. It's suggestive. He is pretty good. It's not lip-syncing. Chris, I cannot sing like that. Emma, just pick a song that you are comfortable with and sing it as if you are making love to me. Chris looks at the karaoke book. Chris, I might sing Thong Song by Cisco. I grew up in Baltimore. Emma, that's a good choice. Chris, I am kidding. I will sing Let's Get It On. Before Emma even says a word, Joseph sings Let's Get It On as a continuation of sexual healing. Emma, tough luck. Chris looks at the book, finds what he is looking for and puts the book aside. Emma, what's it? Chris, it's a surprise. Emma smiles in beauty. They watch Joseph as he continues to sing Let's Get It On. Cut to. Emma sings X's and O's by Elle King. She is wearing red Victoria's Secret lingerie. She looks steamy. There is fog on the stage. All eyes are on her. Chris watches her in wonder. Emma's face is on the screens in close-up. This audio file was created by Panopreter Basic. You can download it at www.panopreter.com. Then comes 4 male professional dancers and 4 female dancers to the stage and begin to dance with Emma erotically as she continues to sing and boogie down. It seems a well-choreographed dance. But she is inventing moves as she goes. Emma then begins to sing Zoops by Tweet while touching herself sexually. She is fingering herself. Chris is speechless. The audiences are taken by her performance. She then finishes singing with high note as she reaches orgasm. The audiences give her a standing ovation. Emma comes to Chris without changing her clothes and still sweating. She sits on his laps and kisses him. They kiss French. Cut to. Chris sings Earned It by The Weeknd. It is in a lip-sync mode. He is half singing. Emma sits at the table and watches him. 6 beautiful professional female dancers come from the backstage and begin to dance with him. Chris then begins to sing Practice What You Preach covered by Weeknd and Miley Cyrus, originally sang by Barry White. Then what do we know? Out of nowhere comes Miley Cyrus in a seductive Victoria's Secret lingerie that shows her skin and begins to sing with Chris. Emma could not help it. She just gets up and tells Miley Cyrus she got it under control. Miley steps down and sits at a table. Emma begins to sing and dance with Chris Practice What You Preach while seducing him. They look like as if they have done it a million times. He is singing down by her neck seductively. She is inside him singing, whispery, down by his lips and ears in between kissing. We stay with them. They then kiss French on the stage. Int. Nightclub, night. Chris and Emma dance in the middle of the crowd. Rock Your Body by Justin Timberlake is playing. Emma is singing. She knows the lyrics by the heart. Yet she is lost in the moment. It seems she would melt with the slightest kiss. She is naturally high with life. Chris is taken by her sense of freedom. She then gets closer, puts her arms around him and kisses him French. They kiss more intimately. Int. Supermarket, night. Chris and Emma are shopping in the middle of the night. Emma is inside the cart. Chris pushes her around the supermarket. On the soundtrack Pursuit of Happiness by Kid Cudi plays. Emma is enjoying the ride while singing Pursuit of Happiness. The song is playing in the supermarket stereo as well. Emma then gets out of the shopping cart and places all kinds of food inside the cart while singing and dancing. Then on the soundtrack, Just Another Sad Song by Toni Braxton comes replacing Pursuit of Happiness. Emma screams in joy. She tells Chris it's one of her favorite songs and begins to sing with Toni Braxton. Chris looks at her in wonder. She takes his hand and makes him dance with him. They dance slow. Emma gets closer to Chris, kisses him and cuddles him affectionately as if he were the missing beat of her heart. At least, that's how Chris feels about her ever since he saw her for the first time. He can feel the beat of her heart inside his chest. They talk between soft kisses and kiss intimately. Int. Emma's Beach House Kitchen, night. Chris and Emma cook all kinds of delicious foods. Emma continues to sing with Toni Braxton, but this time, she is singing Breathe Again while cooking and dancing. It's playing from a stereo. She comes behind Chris, puts her hand inside his pant and touches his private part. Chris turns around. They dance slow. Emma is in love with him. She buries her head on his chest. It's like when girls fall in love, they just become fragile. There are tears in her eyes. Maybe it has to do with the music. She also has few drinks. We don't know what's in her mind. Emma then tells him she has never been happier in her life than today. They kiss French. On the soundtrack, Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer plays. Chris picks her up and places her on the kitchen table. He removes her underwear slowly and throws it away. They kiss more intimately. Chris then removes all of his clothes naked. So does Emma, removes her dress nude. They kiss with tongues. Chris then caresses her neck, bites her breasts seductively, sucks her nipples, gets between her legs, pushes her down, making her to lie on her back, and gives her oral pleasure. Emma is going through all kind of sexual phase and pulls Chris' hair, leans forward and brings him to her lips. They kiss more passionately. Chris then grabs her butt, lifts her up and enters her as they begin to have sex in the kitchen. They then change position. Chris enters her behind doggy style. He pulls her hair and kisses her lips French. Emma turns around, puts her arms around him. They kiss intimately as if their lips were made of tulips. Int. Emma's beach house, bedroom, night. Chris and Emma continue to make love. She is on top ridding him cowgirl style. It's one of the sexiest things we have ever seen in cinema. We don't how she does it. It seems her hips exists in extra dimension. Chris gets her on the bottom. He kisses her lips, caresses her neck, lifts her right leg and enters her. It's a seductive, steamy, and passionate sex. We stay with them with series cuts as they continue to make love with various sexual positions. Int. Bathtub night. Chris and Emma sit in the bathtub. She is resting on his chest with her eyes closed. Chris is behind reciting a poem. Chris, seductively by her neck falling in love with he is like the stars' tender beams hitting on a sea. And the reflection of golden rays into infinity. Thy exotic eyes are like two lakes in nirvana. A place of perfect peace and felicity without misery. However, no desire would go away without a dilemma. The night catches flu, the sky turns into blue. The birds sing in the morning without a clue. Thou art unquenchable source of love that's so true. When thee smile, a tear drops in my heart with emotion of great delight caused by passion that's new. And my heart just wants to fall deeply in love with you. Till it's covered with fever and dew. He plants soft kiss on her shoulder. Angels in heavens envy thee and act like they are thy guardians while pretending to be lotus, magnolia, and daffodils that are sweetened with faith and plunder. But no flower, as a matter fact, goddesses put a shadow on thee of the billion stars in the skies they walk under. Thy lips give me out-of-body experience as if I were struck by lightning and chastised by unrestrained storm. That's consorted with a violent thunder. And strip my soul naked with lust and wonder. The sun stops in the middle of the celestial sphere and tries. This audio file was created by Panopreter Basic. You can download it at www.panopreter.com. To imitate scintillas that reflect from the tears in thy eyes. But it doesn't know whether to set or rise. And always dreams about thee when the sky cries. Yet it never stops seeking thy love clockwise. The moon has stopped giving any advice. And can't help falling in love with thee. Despite the fact it knows beauty is a pending demise. But thou art forever young and a gorgeous surprise. The seraphs that have taken refuge in thy eyes can testify it is a journey beyond paradise. Thy lips are the fountain of sweet love. Created out of the finest roses, tulips, carnations, and the forbidden fruit in the garden of liaison. They are the most beautiful fairy tale ever told. Thy breasts are the testament of natural phenomenon. Thy hip, belly, waist have no scientific explanation. Thy body is a temple, the church of passion and a rose. But thee feel like spirit that rove under my skin without a cloth. When thee smile in love, my heart glows like the sun. Each cell in her body changes into photon. All of the sudden, I'm gone. Even though thy heart is more innocent than a swan. Thou art seen confessing thy sins at the Garden of Love located few miles from Church of Our Lady and Cathedral of St. Joan. Thou make me feel breathless like a dandelion. As if my spirit has already withdrawn. He kisses her on the shoulder. She smiles in beauty. She opens her eyes and turns around. They kiss French. Int. Bedroom night. Chris and Emma make love in round candlelight all night. Int. Emma's car, moving, day. Emma is behind the wheel. Chris is in the passenger seat. They are driving in the street of Los Angeles. Emma plays Cry Me River in the stereo and begins to sing with Justin. Emma, it's hip-hop blues is modern-day jazz. It's better than Charlie Parker the Bird whatever they call him. To be honest, jazz depresses me. Do you like jazz? Chris, it's all right. She smiles in beauty and sings a little bit. Emma, it's a new genre. I mean it's old. But they didn't know what it was then. They just call it hip-hop or R&B. But it is hip-hop blues. It's a new thing. She continued to sing. She then. Emma, today we are going to conduct private investigation. We are following my cousin Laurie's ex-husband and see what he is up to. I think he is cheating on her. She is an actress. We are going to photograph him and catch him in act. Chris, you're fucking with me? Emma, no, I got the camera in the back seat. Hold on the steering wheel for me. Chris holds the steering wheel. She unbuckles her seat belt, reaches for the camera in the back and grabs it. Emma gives Chris the camera. Chris, I could have got it for you. Emma, I felt like getting it myself. She gives him a wink. He smiles in wonder. Chris, if he is her ex, how is he cheating on her? Emma, they are not divorced yet, just separated. He lives in Orange County. Chris, what does he do? Emma, he is a producer. Actually, he has a penthouse in downtown, a beach house in Corona del Mar, a regular house in Bel Air, 3 houses in Orange County, 2 restaurants in the Valley, and a movie studios in Hollywood. We are going to follow him around. Chris, what is his name? Emma, David Hudson. He just won Oscar 3 years ago for producing The Bad, The Psychopathic, and The Beautiful. Chris, I think I know who you are talking about. I worked with him when I came to Los Angeles 10 years ago. Emma, where you from? Chris, I was born in New York City but I grew up in Baltimore. Emma, Edward Norton is from Baltimore. Chris, where you from? Emma, Tempe, Arizona. Chris, I was there like 4 years ago just passing by. It is desert. Emma, it is the hottest place in the planet. I like it. I can't stand the weather in New York City. I lived in NYC in between moving around. It is fucking hell. They have only 2 seasons. Autumn and spring are part of winter. They are more freezing than Iceland. Summer is inferno. It's hotter than Sahara Desert. Chris, I am sensitive to cold weather. That's why I moved to Los Angeles. Emma, California is fucking paradise. I'd do movies for free as long as God keeps the temperature in Hollywood above 78 degrees. I weigh 114 pounds, about 52 kilograms. I might have developed pneumonia if I stayed in New York City. You know, I'm an actress. I don't really see making films as work. It's living your dream. I would have done it for free. But they pay you anyway and spoil the moment. That's why I want to follow this asshole and catch him in the act. It's sort of method acting like Robert De Niro. Chris, what make you think he is cheating on her? Emma, he made a pass on me. I didn't want to tell her. Ironically, it kind of turned me on. But I want to catch him in act and show her the pictures. Chris, why don't you hire a professional private investigator who are specialized in these kinds of things? It could take time. Emma, I want to do it myself for the thrill of it. You are going to help me. Emma clicks a button and plays Dilemma by Nelly featuring Kelly and begins to sing. Chris, I am surprised you know a lot of music. Emma, I carry my iPod everywhere I go. Sometimes, I sleep listening to music and sing in my dream. It's my baby. She continues to sing the chorus with the female vocalist. Chris, who's that? Emma, the rapper is Nelly. The girl is Kelly Rowland. She used to be with Beyoncé as a member of Destiny Child. Chris, that's not Beyoncé? Emma, no. It's Kelly. Beyoncé might have a number on her. You know, she is a superstar. But even though it's only chorus, Beyoncé has never done anything that's melodious like Dilemma. She continued to sing with Kelly. Chris, I like Beyoncé. I saw her in my dream a couple months ago. I didn't know what she was doing. I don't even know what the dream was about. She just appeared for a second and disappeared. Emma, I like some of her songs. Halo and Irreplaceable are my number 1 and 2. But they are nowhere close as catchy as Dilemma. It makes a nice movie title. Dilemma. You mentioned it last night. Chris, did I? Emma, you said. No desire would go away without a dilemma. The night catches flu, the sky turns into blue. The birds sing in the morning without a clue. Thou art unquenchable source of love, that's so true. Chris, humorously, I didn't remember saying that. It must be split personality. Emma smiles in beauty. Emma, it's okay. I won't hold it against you. Love is sweet with wit lies and wit with sweet lies. Chris, I will make it up to you. There is this girl, I just can't get enough of her. She is a star not in the sky but Hollywood. Yet more gorgeous than Aphrodite, the goddess of love, who act proud, and Psyche, who is humble. She comforts me, thrills me, seduces me. Sometimes, she prefers to keep it simple. However, that is only razzle-dazzle. She's extremely beautiful. Smart, sexy, sassy, and stylish as well. She cause nothing but trouble. She is true love in the hearts she visits. Or stays would feel her at the core and tremble. Yet, her beauty is enough to my souls. Her beauty is beauty but unique. It's deep and lovely inside and out. There is no stigmata but mystery. Just looking at her face invites romance and dilemma. Between the angels in Inheritance of Saints in Light. Magnolia in the Garden of Eden, and roses that I saw in Lima. Also luscious, devilish allure and coquettish like Cleopatra. Yet yonder the breath of tender anointed with good karma. Her lips dissolve damnation and absolve sins. And when I kiss her, they make me feel like it is worth to take the risk, rule the world, and none of it is my fault. Yet her irises dance in my soul and turns my liver into salt. Sometimes, when I am not with her, or look away for a second or close my eyes, the thought of her makes my heart halt. As if she had sliced it, hid a treasure inside my soul, then striped every pulse and locked it in a vault. However, I've found home in her tongue. She says the cutest things and such proverb like, love is sweet with wit lies, and wit with sweet lies. Yet I don't know why my heart thinks it's a painted bunting, and can spread its wings like eagle and fly in the skies. Or how the stars twinkle dusk to dawn and create disguise, and shine from morning to witching hours of mystical murk, and bind spell in her sweet irises without lies. But all I know, the only thing I'm sure of it, is I just want to kiss her lips day and night. Build mystery whether I'm wrong or right, and might as well stop being eminently wise, and forever fall in love with her beautiful eyes. Emma stops the car in the middle of the street without giving a fuck, unbuckles her seatbelt, puts the emergency light on, comes to Chris and kisses him. They kiss intimately. There is traffic behind them. Cars honk horns at them and are forced to drive right and left passing Chris and Emma. Chris is a little bit terrified. Emma doesn't care about the commotion. She continues to kiss Chris as if she found the love of her life. Chris feels like he has to seize the moment. He melts her lips. They kiss French more. It's one of the most romantic scenes in cinema. They part their lips. Emma starts the car and resumes driving. Emma, I didn't know you were that romantic. Chris, sometimes, I tend to be sentimental. Emma, that wasn't sentimental. Just looking at her face invites romance and dilemma. Between the angels in Inheritance of Saints in Light, magnolia in the Garden of Eden and roses that I saw in Lima. Also luscious, devilish allure and coquettish like Cleopatra. Yet yonder the breath of tender anointed with good karma. Chris, I had a moment. Emma, what's Lima? Chris, it's the capital city of Peru. Emma, that's what I thought too. But have you been in Lima? Chris, no, I have never been Lima. But it rhymes with dilemma. You said love is wit with sweet lies. I am pretty much sure the roses in Lima are same as the roses in Florence or the roses in Paris. But I will go there someday and bring you fresh cut roses from Peru. Emma, it's not the same, is it? You already said roses that I saw in Lima. Chris, it's supposed to be metaphor for quantum retroactive. Emma, what is quantum retroactive? Chris, it's when the future affect the present. It's a little bit similar to Minority Report when they prevent crime before it happened. Emma, whatever you said. I will let you get away with murder. Maybe that's a wit lie. But let's create a story under the title of Dilemma based on the song. You know, a story about a girl who finds herself in love with a man, but she has to deal with the dilemma. However, unlike the song, she doesn't have a baby. But she can't leave her boyfriend for some unknown reason. Suppose they are engaged. She thought she was in love with him. But the beautiful stranger is tempting her. Or rather her boyfriend, let's call him Tyler, is a drug dealer. She is Viviana. They just get high and do nothing spectacular. Then this mysterious man Raphael comes out of nowhere and sweeps her off her feet. He is a poet. He also writes screenplays and makes films. Raphael and Viviana begin to have an affair behind her drug dealer boyfriend. She is an aspiring actress. They make a couple of short together. They also film themselves as they have sex, homemade porn. They involve in a lot of adventures. However, she still can't leave her boyfriend. She is addicted to cocaine. Viviana gets it from Tyler for free. Tyler is a psychopath. If he discovers she is having an affair with a poet, he will kill her. Later, Tyler finds out she is cheating on him. He sees the sex video Raphael and Viviana made. Tyler beats Viviana till she falls unconscious. He ties her up and locks her in the basement while she is still bleeding. Tyler then gets his gun and calls his friends, bad guys, to kill Raphael. Meanwhile, Viviana manages to free herself, escapes, and comes to Raphael's house to warn him. But it is too late. Tyler shoots him in the heart and kills him as Viviana watches from the distance. She cries till her eyes turns to blood, burn his body and scatter his ashes on the Pacific Ocean. Viviana then comes to her father's house, grabs a shotgun, returns to her ex-boyfriend's house, and kills the bad guys. She shoots Tyler in the face, kills him and walks away. Chris is surprised she is just like him. She creates story as she goes. Chris, that's a pretty good story. Emma, I just made it up based on the song Dilemma. But I am sorry I killed you. Raphael is played by you. Chris, I don't mind dying for love. Emma, I'll fix it. I had you killed, because you said the roses that you saw in Lima. I don't know how quantum retroactive works and I don't want to know. To be fair, you never set a foot in Peru. But I am not mad at you. Tyler just shoots you in the head. I kill all of them. You don't die. I drive you to the hospital. This audio file was created by Panopreter Basic. You can download it at www.panopreter.com. Seductive Pain, Part 5. Emma, they save your life but you become blind like Christian Slater in True Romance. Chris, I don't know if that's better than living. I get Alabama. Things may get a little easier. I may close my eyes. I may miss your smile the most here and there. I may live for your lips, kiss them till I am drunk. But I'll turn each beat of my heart into a rose petal and design you roses every day and the rest of my life to make it up to you. Yet still, I would die soon or later if I continue to live without gazing at your soul through your beautiful eyes. Emma, you don't have to look away for a second or close your eyes, the thought of me would make your heart halt, as if I sliced it, hid a treasure inside your soul, took all the beats and locked it in a vault. Chris, you got me. Emma, I am fucking with you. Tyler shot you in the left eye. You don't go blind completely. You just lose one eye. You were an eye patch. We kiss in the beach. The end. Chris, that's much better. She smiles in beauty. Emma, it's only a film. But Hollywood will take that idea and turn it into business. First, they would change the title into Crazy in Love and have Beyoncé sing Crazy in Love on the soundtrack to sell it even though it's inspired by Dilemma. Chris, playing along Crazy in Love doesn't sound that bad. Emma, Crazy in Love is what Vincent Vaughn and Swingers call it money. It's a suitable title for the story. But Dilemma has a twist. Chris, I like Crazy in Love. It has a good hook. Emma, I like Crazy in Love too. It's kind of prepossessing. We will work on it together. Chris, sure. Chris's cell phone is vibrating inside his pocket. He looks at it who is calling and turns it off. Emma clicks a button and plays Crazy in Love by Beyoncé featuring Jay-Z and sings with missing a beat. Emma, give me your cell phone. Chris, why? Emma, just give it to me. Chris gives her his cell phone. Emma throws it away. A car runs over it. Emma, I need you for a couple of days. Emma increases the volume Crazy in Love and begins to sing with Beyoncé. Chris just shakes his head in disbelief as if he is saying I can't believe she did that. He is fascinated by her sense of alive. EXT Emma's convertible, moving, day. An established shot of Emma and Chris as they continue to drive in the street of Los Angeles. Montage movie, AI Heist. We are watching a heist film titled AI starring Olga Kurylenko. It's about an FBI agent named Sophia played by Olga who is assigned to investigate robots that steal series of banks but she finds out things are more complicated than they appear to be. In flashback, a man named John kidnapped the daughter of Ian, one of the best robot programmers in the world. John tells him if Ian wants to see his daughter, he has to write a program that allows robots to steal banks. However, John is using the robots as a distraction. When the robots steal banks, they attract the entire cops in the city. John and his crew come to steal a classified disk kept in safe deposit box at a high-security bank, which contains information that's worth $35 billion. We pick it up as 5 robots led by Paul steals a commercial bank. They take the money, fill it in bags and exit the building. All of them are carrying machine gun. The cops show up outside the bank and exchange fire with the robots. It looks like a scene from Heat starring Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, except they are robots who look exactly like humans. The robots kill a couple of cops as if they were bad guys in a video game. They got in the car and drive away. The cops follow them in the streets of Los Angeles. Paul is the most violent. He tells the driver to pull over in the middle of road. The cops that were pursuing them stop behind them. Paul jumps on the hood of the cop's car in a blink of an eye and fires rain of bullets through the window, killing the cops. He then throws a nerve gas at the remaining cops who pulled over and firing at him. Paul fires at the cops. He throws hand grenades. We see all kind of explosion. Then out of nowhere comes Sophia, Olga Kurylenko, driving a convertible and pulls over in the middle of the street. She gets out the car, fires at Paul without missing a beat and takes him out just like that. We then find ourselves in the set of AI Heist. They are filming in the street of Los Angeles. Chris and Emma stand and watch the commotion. David is the producer. He is talking to an assistant named Nancy. Emma takes few pictures of David and Nancy. Then Olga approaches David. Nancy walks away. Olga and David strike up a conversation. They are into each other. Emma photographs them. Emma, do you think he is fucking her? Chris, I doubt it. Emma, what does your gut tell you? Chris, maybe they are friends. Emma, I don't know about guys. But girls love to fuck their friends. Chris smiles in wonder. Emma takes more photographs. EXT Street Day. Chris is behind the wheel. Emma is in the passenger seat. They are following David who is in a BMW convertible with Olga driving in the street of Los Angeles in front of them. EXT Restaurant, Day. David and Olga have late lunch. It's around 4:45 p.m. Chris and Emma sit nearby and have red wine. Emma continues to photograph David and Olga without their knowledge. Int. S&M strip club night. It's not your typical strip club. They are about 23 tables. Each table has a beautiful exotic dancer dancing in S&M and BDSM in horizontal, vertical and curved uniquely designed bars. The girls look breathtaking. David and Olga sit at the table with glasses of whiskeys. They have a private stripper tied up in S&M dancing exotically at their unique table that has water surrounded by fire. We don't know what Olga and David are doing there. Maybe they are discussing Olga's next role. She might be wondering, are they strippers or gorgeous Olympians in some alien universe? They are not dancing around a pole like regular stripper. I think whoever designed the bars must have tired seeing exotic dancers making fool out of themselves around a pole and decided to be inventive, and revolutionize the act while making those poor beautiful creature working for it. Regardless, Olga and David seem into each other. Chris and Emma sit at a table nearby having wine and scotch. A stripper dances exotically on their peculiar table that has water surrounded by a water fountain and other things. She is doing all kinds of S&M acts. Love in This Club by Usher is playing. Chris seems to be enjoying the dance. He is wondering too. What is this place? He has never seen anything like this. He is creating a story in his head. Emma is photographing David and Olga. Chris wants to tip the stripper. But they are not allowed to tip. These girls are high-class exotic dancer handpicked by God. It is a figure of speech. Not only have they looked like goddesses, but they also take it to the next level. We've never seen strippers doing anything like this. Emma, are you enjoying the dance? Chris, she is amazing. They exchange soft kisses. Emma, referring to Olga and David, what do you think they are doing here? Chris, I have no idea. Emma, I think she's here for a role. I heard she just signed for a part to play a stripper named Natasha. A story about a man who falls in love with an exotic dancer. His name is John. He is an architecture. He just got fired from his job and comes to see her dance. Natasha has always a crush on him. She seduces him. They have sex at his house. Natasha decides to spend the night there. She gets up in the middle of the night and comes to John's study room by accident while looking around all kinds of breathtaking architects that he has designed. To her surprise, she finds out John is obsessed with her. She sees various drawings of herself dancing exotic on all kinds of bars, nets, water and fire like this place. She senses money. Natasha tells John they are going to visit every strip club and pitch the idea. But first he has to design them. He does so. Natasha tests the bars and nets doing all kinds of well-choreographed exotic dances. She shows them how it's done. Natasha and John sell the idea and make fortune while falling head over heels in love with each other. John also has to remodel some of the strip club from scratch. He places water fountains and fire in some of the club. Even though they have made more money than they have imagined, Natasha doesn't have no plan of sitting behind the computer and managing the business. She continues to dance exotic at the strip club that they own. However, Natasha still thinks something missing. She adds S&M act and changes the game forever. Chris, that is a good story. Emma, I am going to blackmail his ass to get the lead part. I was supposed to audition for the lead role. But this 2 cans short of a 6-pack just gave Olga the part without audition, because she is Russian. What does she know about acting in the first place but to fire guns as if they were out of style? She is nothing but 2 chromosomes short of hillbilly. You know, I am not complaining. That's how things are done here in Hollywood. They think they can do whatever they want. Well, 2 can play at that game. Chris, you are not really blackmailing him for a part, are you? Emma, it's not your typical exotic dancer story. It deals with a lot of creativity, seduction, love, and business. And there is also S&M. I think all girls loves to get tied up and spanking. Chris, I didn't know that. Emma, now you know. Chris, but is it worth it? Emma, worth what? Chris, following him around when we could do something else. Emma, it's fun. I am having the time of my life. You know, I just want to see the expression of his face change when he sees the photos, and maybe steal the part. Or I will make him promise to give me a part without auditioning whenever he has a good script next time. Chris, you don't play fair, do you? Emma, I don't know what fair means. Let me see it. She types fair in her cell phone. It lists the definition. Emma, free from bias, dishonesty, or injustice. Legitimately sought, pursued, done, given, etc. There is a bunch of definition. I think everything is relative. We are not here in this world to do what we are told to do. We are here to do what we love to do. If you have to lie, cheat, steal, and kill, just do it. But never let your conscience get in your way. Chris just shakes his head in wonder as if he's saying she is something. They watch the dancer a little bit. Emma, anyhow, I can dance better than her. Chris, really? They kiss French. Minutes later. Emma strips for Chris tied up in S&M. On the stereo, 1979 by Smashing Pumpkins plays. Emma sings with Billy Corgan while dancing sensually and stripping her clothes seductively, and freeing herself from S&M. Chris watches her in wonder. He can't believe what she told the manager to allow her strip, but Chris continues to enjoy the dance. Emma removes all of her clothes and continues to dance exotically in S&M. Emma then crosses the fire, comes to Chris and sits on his lap nude. They kiss French for long seconds. Int. Emma's beach house, living room, day. Chris and Emma come to the living room kissing. He is carrying her. Emma is nude. He puts her down on the floor. On the soundtrack, Tonight Tonight by Smashing Pumpkins plays. They kiss more intimately. Chris removes all his clothes. They kiss French and go down on the floor together. Chris caresses her neck, kisses her breasts, sucks her nipples, opens her legs and gives her oral pleasure. She pulls his hair in sexual passion. Chris kisses her lips, gets between her legs, lifts right leg and enters her. Emma is into it. They switch position. He then bends her and enters her behind doggy style. Emma makes all kinds of sexual sounds. Int. Emma's beach house, bedroom, night. Chris and Emma continue to make love. She is on top riding him, cowgirl. On the soundtrack, Head Over Feet by Alanis Morissette continues to play. They are doing it with all kinds of sexual positions. We stay with them with series cuts. Cut 2. They are done having sex. Emma, who is nude, cuts cocaine on Chris's chest and lines it up. Snores it with a rolled dollar bill. She licks the remaining cocaine from his chest. They kiss lasciviously for long seconds as if their lips and tongues are made of roses. Emma then produces a chain out of nowhere. Emma, I want you to strangle me and then bring me back with CPR. Chris, you're kidding? Emma, I just brought the chain last night online to do it. Chris, what if you die? Emma, that's the whole idea. Chris, I mean what if you never return? Emma, I will take my chance. Chris, it's too dangerous. Emma, don't be ridiculous. It's fun. I will record it. Emma grabs the video camera from her closet and sets it up to self-record. Chris and Emma kiss French. This audio file was created by Panopreader Basic. You can download it at www.panopreader.com. Chris caresses her neck, bites her breasts leaving teeth marks on her skin and few hickeys, goes down and gives her oral pleasure just a little bit. Chris lifts her legs and enters her with full speed. Emma lets out all kinds of erotic sounds. Emma then gets on top and rides him fanatically as she is possessed by a sex demon. We have never seen anything freak like this. She just shakes him like earthquake as if her life depends on it while talking all kinds of things. She is feeling the Holy Spirit. It could be the cocaine. We don't know what it is. But she is doing it seductively. On the soundtrack, The Trooper by Iron Maiden plays. Chris pulls her hair and changes position. He hits it supernatural while slapping her butt. Emma continues to talk dirty. Chris then puts the chain around Emma's neck and enters her behind sweetly and strangles her as he comes inside her. Emma's eyes fills with tears and falls down by the side of her face. She takes her last breath and dies. Everything goes silent. On the soundtrack, the music stops. Chris quickly gives her CPR and chest compression and brings her back. She takes deep breath. Emma, that was fucking awesome. Chris and Emma kiss passionately and continue to make love. It's not as crazy as earlier. It's more intimate. Then on the soundtrack, You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette plays. Emma gets on top of Chris and rides him seductively. Montage. We are watching Sin title starring unknown actress named Megan, produced by David. A story about a girl named Julie who lost her father Preston, mother, sister, and brother in the hand of a villain named Peter when she was just 10 years old. She escapes persecution by hiding in and watches Peter and the bad guys steals a disc from her father's safe. 12 years later, she grows up to be a beautiful 23-years-old girl, but she finds herself singing and dancing at a club that Peter owns in Vegas. Julie is the main attraction in Sin City. Yet she is in the middle of seeking revenge. Peter doesn't know who she is. She is also dating his son John in order to get closer to him. When the time is right, Julie would shoot him between his eyes and kill him, even it means she might get killed in the process on hands of his bloodthirsty goons. At least that's what she thinks. She just can't wait to kill him. One day, she makes up her mind and approaches him with a gun to kill him. When she is about to shoot him, a young man named Isaiah holds her hand and takes her aside. It's love at first sight. She has never seen this man before. He is Peter's new employee, an undercover cop. He tells her it is not worth it. She doesn't want to lose her life over whatever it is. Isaiah is building case against Peter. He tells her that Peter will spend the rest of his life in prison. Isaiah gives her his word he will take him out personally. Julie and Isaiah make love. They become lovers. Later, Julie discovers Isaiah is Peter's son. His father raped his mother Maria. She is Catholic. She can't have abortion. Instead Maria gave birth to Isaiah and put him for adaptation. Isaiah just found out after he was called to come to the funeral of his biological mother whom he never saw in flesh and blood. His parent Roger and Bethany, who adopted him, never told him. They didn't know and didn't bother to find out who his biological father and mother were. They just raised him as if he was their son. They probably wouldn't have known. The adoption agency destroyed the record upon Maria's family request and made Roger and Bethany promise to raise him as if he were their own blood. First, Isaiah hides the truth from Julie. He doesn't know how she is going to react. Later, he tells her the truth and promises her it doesn't change anything. Not only will he never tell Peter that he's his biological father, but he also has to do his work. Peter has broken the law. He will bring him down. However, Julie is not sure about something. She does not know what it is. That changes everything. Julie is then told she is pregnant. She doesn't want to tell Isaiah about it yet. Some part of her tells her she should share the good news with the baby's father. Other part of tells her she shouldn't give a grandson to a man who killed her entire family in cold blood even though Peter doesn't know Isaiah is his son. He just think he is one of his goons. Julie decides to keep the baby. She's in love with Isaiah. Julie does not care his father is the Prince of Darkness himself. She wasn't sure at first, because the memory of her family dying was hunting her. The devil was closer than she had ever thought. She was even convinced it was inside her belly. But they say love is stronger than hate. Julie tells Isaiah the news. He is happy. Julie is still working at the club dancing here and there to keep herself busy. Or perhaps, to keep eyes on Peter and take him out when expected the least. Later, she gives birth to a boy. They named him Saint Michael. She wants to keep Saint as part of his official name. It was after her baby brother who is killed by Peter. Julie makes Isaiah promise never to tell the baby Peter is his grandfather. He swears on her. They kiss French. Meanwhile, Julie asks Isaiah why it is taking so long to arrest Peter. He tells her it's complicated. Isaiah and Julie's father, Preston, were partner. 12 years ago, they stole a disc that contained antimatter nuclear. Peter then killed Preston and took the disc. He has kept the disc somewhere hidden. He is planning to sell the disc to China for $10 billion. Later, Saint Michael is diagnosed with heart complication. He needs a heart transplant. Julie and John are told there is no heart that match his blood type. Saint Michael falls in coma. In the meantime, the cops decide to take Peter out when he sells the disc to China. SWAT surrounds the bad guys and tells Peter to surrender. But Peter has no plan on surrendering. His goons follows his lead. They fire at the cops. The cops fire back. There is a wild shootout. Isaiah is present. He keeps his eyes on Peter. Meanwhile, Isaiah kills a couple of bad guys who stand in his way. He corners Peter, points his gun at him and tells to surrender. Peter tells him. He knows Isaiah is his son. Saint Michael is his grandson. He is not planning on going to prison. Isaiah might as well shoot him, takes his heart and gives it to Saint Michael. Peter points his gun at his own heart and tells Isaiah he doesn't have a lot of time. He has to make his mind before he ruins the heart. Peter gives Isaiah 3 seconds. It's suicide. This audio file was created by Panopreader Basic. You can download it at www.panopreader.com. Isaiah shoots Peter in the head. The paramedics rush him to hospital. He is pronounced brain dead. The doctors take Vincent's heart and gives it to Saint Michael and save his life. Later, Julie looks at her son playing soccer with his father in the beach, and decides to forgive Peter. EXT movie set, day. David is the producer. He seems a busy man. He is everywhere making all kinds of films. David is talking to the leading actress Megan. Chris and Emma stand across the shooting. Emma photographs David and Megan. Int. Restaurant, night. Chris and Emma sit at a table having wine. David and Megan have dinner. They are sitting across Chris and Emma. David then produces a diamond ring out of nowhere, goes down with one knee and asks Megan to marry him. Emma, did he just ask her to marry him? Chris says nothing. He is just having fun. Emma continues to take their pictures. Megan accepts David's proposal. David places the ring on her finger. They kiss. Emma takes more pictures. Emma, that's romantic. I have never seen a man going down with one knee and ask a girl to marry him. It only happens in movies. I'll leave him alone. A man named Sean walks up to them. He is Chris's agent. Sean, here is the man I've been looking for 24/7. I thought you were dead. Where have you been hiding? Sean pulls a chair and sits at the table. Chris, this is my agent. Sean. Emma. They shake hands. Sean, I'm not going to bother you. I know you are taking break. I just want to ask you one question and leave you alone. What do you think of Anna de Armas? Chris, she is gorgeous. Sean, she is fucking ditto. Universal wants her to start as Molly in the remake of Ghost till I got her something sizzling. Actually, it's me who brought the idea. They gave me a green light if I take care of the bullshit behind the scene and come up with 3 more original stories. You know, I was thinking of Anna for Miami Ultra, a film about a model, who takes Miami by storm, gracing all kinds of fashion magazines, posing nude for artists and photographers and appearing on various movies based in the city of heat and involves in drugs, sex video scandal with a married man and murder mystery while living like there is no tomorrow. It could easily be LA Ultra. I might move it here in City of Angels. It is on the work. Macho Camacho biopic and 3 other films. But the latter I was bitten by Hand of Stone. She is starring in a biopic of Roberto Duran. I'll see how that movie is doing and make few changes. I'm still working on it under the title of It's Macho Time. I have already had her in Confidential Affair, about a hacker who caught up in political affair in Miami. The protagonist is Mario. He is a con artist, hacks computer, robs bank, and steals money from internet-based business like Hugh Jackman in Swordfish. He meets a beautiful girl named Mary, Anna de Armas, at a restaurant where she works as a waitress. They go out a date. They make love at first date and become lovers. Yet, Mario is forced to leave Miami after a bloody bank heist take a twist. One of the robber, Ian, works for CIA. He doubles-crossed them. 5 years later, Mario returns to Miami with a new face. Mary has already become an exotic dancer. She has a 4-year-old daughter. She is also involved in drug trafficking with people in power and corrupted Miami SWAT. Mario keeps eyes on her without making his presence known. Ian and a corrupted CIA official named Laura track Mario down. They ask him to hack DNI saving account $28 billion, explaining the money will be spent on turning Cuba into democracy country or there will be consequences. They may kill Mary and his daughter. Mario carries out a successful hack leading all the beautiful and notorious into glory. It's a story of love, seduction, heist, and corruption. Anna is my leading candidate for Ghost. However, I don't want to be the exact remake. I need you to help me recreate the story, you know, add few twists here and there. I had Viola Davis in mind for Oda Mae Brown that was originally played by Whoopi Goldberg. You know, Ghost starring Demi Moore is untouchable. I know a lot of people are going to skin me alive for even thinking about it. I wouldn't have touched it. But it's been 25 years. It is only to introduce Anna. She is the hottest thing in town. I need you to look at it. Chris, I see what I can do. Emma, I can help you with few twists. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Suppose Molly is an artist or a photographer instead of a potter. Sam is an insurance claim investigator. They just moved to a new house in Los Angeles. Sam is assigned to investigate a life insurance that is claimed by a woman named Mrs. Miller, which the insurance company is about to hand $50 million for the death of her husband. Sam and Molly make love with Let's Stay Together by Al Green. Yet, Sam finds out Mrs. Miller had her husband killed and discusses the case with Carl who sold her the insurance. It's a little bit like Double Indemnity. Sam has no knowledge of Carl's involvement who advise him to be patient before he goes to the police with the information. Carl tries to convince him Mrs. Miller is a good person. Sam tells him he has all the evidence in a disc. Yet that night was Molly's birthday. Sam excuses Carl and runs to the restaurant to meet her. They have dinner and take a walk in the street of Los Angeles. Then Willie approaches them. He points his gun at Sam and asks him to give him his wallet. Sam has a diamond ring in the wallet. He was about to propose to Molly at the restaurant. But he changed his mind at the last minute after Molly talked about her friend who just got divorced and suggested she did not understand why people get married in the first place, then divorce and deal with all those courtroom drama. It's not worth it. Regardless, Willie hits Molly. Sam fights with Willie and is shot in the heart by accident. Sam chases Willie. When he returns back to Molly, he sees her crying holding his dead body. He doesn't know what is happening. Sam is a ghost. He attends his own funeral, and later remains near Molly, hoping to tell her how much he loves her. Carl comes over and asks Molly out. Sam stays in the house. He is not used to go outside. He doesn't even know how to open the door. Seconds, Willie enters the apartment, goes through Molly's stuff searching for the disc as Sam watches him in anger. Willie can't find it. Molly returns to the apartment, removes all her clothes nude and fills the bathtub with hot water to take a bath. Willie is turned on by her nudity. Molly takes a bath. When Willie is about to look into her purse, a robot dog that Sam gave her as a gift blasts out a music. Willie chooses to leave her alone for now. Sam follows Willie to his apartment in Hollywood and discovers he is up to something. While walking back to the apartment, Sam sees the business of Oda Mae Brown. Unlike the original movie played by Whoopi Goldberg, Viola can see Sam and has felt she has known him all her life. Their approach to each other is not comical like Whoopi and Patrick, but it's intimate. She is the only person who can see him and agrees to help him after Sam tells her that Molly's life is in danger. Oda Mae Brown comes to Molly's house to warn her. Molly cannot see Sam and doubts Oda Mae is telling her the truth. Oda tells Molly things only Sam knows. Molly then tells Carl about what Oda Mae told him. Carl goes to Willie's house without the knowledge that Sam is with him. Sam is shocked to discover Carl and Willie are working together. He felt betrayed. Sam also finds out Carl advises Mrs. Miller to hire Willie to get rid of her husband. Sam had the disc that implicates Mrs. Miller involvement in the murder of her husband. Carl needs the disc or they both go to prison for long time. Meanwhile, Molly comes to LAPD police station and tells them Willie kills Sam. They show her Oda Mae's record and tells her that Oda Mae is a con artist. Molly doesn't want to see Oda Mae anymore. Carl comes to the house and tries to seduce Molly. Sam does everything in his power to stop him, and by accident he breaks a flower vase, which has a rose that Sam gave Molly. Sam comes to a disturbed ghost who has the power to move object and asks him to teach him how to move objects. The confused ghost shows him few tricks. Carl steals the disc from Molly's house. However, Sam finds out there is diamond in safe deposit. That is the main motivation behind the killing of Mr. Miller. Sam approaches Oda Mae and asks her to do him a favor. He asks her to withdraw the diamond that's worth $1 billion in a safe deposit. She successfully withdraws the diamond. Oda is seen by Molly as she exits the bank. Sam tells her to give the diamond to donation. Meanwhile, Carl and Mrs. Miller come to the bank to withdraw the diamonds and find out they are gone. Later, Molly tells Carl that she saw Oda Mae at the bank. Carl and Willie come to kill Oda Mae. Sam stops them. A car hits Willie. He's killed instantly. Then black shadow things drag Willie's soul to hell. Sam and Oda Mae return to Molly's apartment. First, Molly doesn't want to open the door for them. Sam tells her few intimate details about the past. Molly's eyes fill with tears. She blinks her eyes. A tear rolls down on her cheek and falls down. Sam catches it in the air, lifts it up and shows it to Molly. Oda Mae tells Molly to take her hand. She holds Sam's hand and use her spiritual power and allow Molly to see Sam. Ode then gives him a temporary metaphysical vim, a part of her, and stands aside or sings I Put a Spell on You by Nina Simone while playing a piano or Let's Stay Together Tina Turner version. Sam and Molly dance slow. They are interrupted by Carl. Molly and Oda Mae run down the street, come to a new building that is under construction, take the staircase and hide at the rooftop. Carl searches for them. He finds Molly. When he is about to shoot her, Sam knocks the gun out of his hand and hits him. Carl is confused. He walks down the edge of the building and slips, but Sam holds his hand and tries to save him. However, Sam can't hold him any longer. He tries to pull him up to safety. Yet, Carl lets Sam's hand go, falls, and dies. The black shadows drag his soul to hell. Molly can now see Sam clearly. A heavenly light shines from the sky. It is not his time to go. Miraculously, his flesh returns to his soul. He can feel Molly in flesh and blood. He thanks Oda Mae for everything. Molly and Sam kiss on top of the building. The end. Sean, that's impressive. Did you get that, Chris? He nods yes. Chris, I got it. Sean, I am supposed to meet her here in few minutes. He looks at his watch. Sean, 1 minute. Ana de Armas walks in. Sean, that's her. Sean gets up and waves his hand. Anna sees him, beams in a beautiful smile and approaches him. He walks up to her. They say hi in Spanish and kiss on the cheeks greeting. Sean introduces her to Chris and Emma. Sean brings a chair for Ana de Armas from another table. She joins them. Sean, I was just telling them about you. We will go there in a minute. But Emma just pitched a great idea, the remake of Ghost that I was telling you about. Anna, I just watched it now before I came here. It's classic. I think it's hard to do remake for Latino actresses. Sean, Americans are always doing remake. Look at Tom Cruise Vanilla Sky. It is a Spanish classic. I mean I don't want to go to the list. Studios have been cashing in remakes since the 40s. Besides, this is just to introduce you to American audiences. Anna, what about schedule conflict? I have booked for a couple of movies. Sean, we will work around your schedule. I was going to do it a straight remake. But Emma just added a different twist to the story. We pan to the stage. Usher sings Hot Chocolates You Sexy Thing. Chris, Emma, Sean, and Ana de Armas continue to talk, but we don't hear what they are saying due to music. Then the music falls in the background. Sean, it is based on The Secrets in Their Eyes. I Got Beaten by Billy Ray. They just did the remake starring Julia Roberts, Nicole Kidman, and Chiwetel Ejiofor. I haven't watched it yet. I might still work on it. Starring Anna. You know, I was going to kill it, but she said it's one of her favorite movies of all time. The movie tells a story of a man named Nicholas who is called to investigate a murder of 22-year-old girl named Monica. The main suspect is Paul. He is in the run. Meanwhile, Nicholas involves with a young journalist named Maria played by Anna here, who is investigating the case and writing articles on the story for Los Angeles Times. Note, if it is convenient, we might see Anna de Armas in the female leading role. Sean, Maria is engaged to a man named Dylan who works at an advertisement agency. But she is attracted to Nicholas. He is into her as well. Nicholas thinks she's one of the most beautiful girls he has ever seen. Nicholas and Maria question the girl's boyfriend Vincent. He is a doctor. This audio file was created by Panopreter Basic. You can download it at www.panopreter.com.